all getting absolute muscle there. At turn 1, that was an absolute disaster.
Oh, he's fine!
Oh no! That's massive for Adam!
All over the rear bumper of Spin, mate. These guys are hitting each other like nothing we've ever seen before.
Jeep pulls out to the outside. Here we go again.
AEST there, he's going to go for a move here. The two Ferraris in front of him.
Jeep went wide. Jeep is
Oh!
in the Schumacher. Oh, good contact.
Oh, massive contact there.
This is going to be an incredible finish for these two.
The speed, the overspeed happening. They're going to go 3 wide into
Oh.
turn 1.
There's contact there from Tracy that comes through on the way in. He tries to retwist and gets his way.
Shoved out wide. Oh, huge contact.
This is fantastic. On the outside though in turn 1.
As he shoves it down the inside anyway. What is this? Oh my gosh! What a move from GTR!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We're here tonight for the season finale, our Group A week here at Monza. It's a magnificent spectacle that we're here to see tonight, as we do have one championship fight that is still ongoing, is unsettled, what's the word? Not unsettled, undecided, I should say. My name is Lenosis, and joining me in the commentary box tonight is your Division 3 race director, CGK. How are we doing tonight?
Doing very good. Thank you very much, Lenocious. And I'm sure that we're going to be at a loss of words at least once during this final round. Not necessarily just due to the standings, but, you know, it is Monza. And a beautiful day it is out at Monza. A little bit of a light wind, but, yeah, we've had our practice starts. And I think everyone is pretty much ready to get started. Of course, we've got qualifying and such as well to go through. But doing good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we'll just have a look at our track map for tonight. Oops, that is the wrong transition. I apologize, everybody. Round 12 here tonight at Monza, 5.793 kilometers, 11 turns, 10-minute qualifying followed by a 25-minute race for Division 3 and Division 1. Soft and medium tires up for grabs today. No wet weather will be on the cards tonight, so dry weather tyres all round. And we'll just have a look at our track schedule as well. Once again, here at Monza for our Group A week, kicking us off momentarily is your Division 3 qualifying, 10 minutes at 7 p.m. AEST, and then 7:15 p.m. AEST is the race. That's when Division 3 are due, and then an hour later, at 8:15, we have Division 1 kicking off their qualifying with a race start at 8:30. And we'll also have a look at our Division 3 points, how things are shaping up at the moment on that side of things. So Bumcrack leads the way for Kraken Esports on a 302 points going into the final race, a 10-point buffer to Boybegum, the CP driver, in second place. Freelix, third place for Respawn Esports. He is 1 point behind Boybegum, and those are the top three. Those are the guys who are fighting for the championship tonight. Bumcrack, he needs a 5th or better to steal the championship. However, Boybegum or Freelix, they're looking to unsettle him at the top, and it could be anyone's game out of these top three. In fourth, we have Budsy for Ice Esports, unfortunately out of contention for tonight. Black Project in fifth for Blacklight. Gur in sixth for Dadson. 7th is Stranger. 8th is Carbon Boy. 9th, Shizer. 10th, Daz. 11th, Kill on the Loose. 12th is Sizzling Sausage. 13th is Livingspiel. And Prua in P14 on the cards. So, what are your thoughts on tonight's championship fights, CGK? We have those three high stakes drivers, Bumcrack, Boybegum, and Freelix, all with a shot at Sector 1 glory here tonight, don't we?
That's right, and it's really nice actually to go into a final round of the series where we're not completely decided yet on the result. We've had Revs Law and Div 4 taking out the championship last week, and G-Schlol as well for Div 1 taking out the championship last week in terms of first place. But yeah, nice to have a three-way battle here. It's going to be tricky. Bumcrack needs to really have the race of his life here today. He's had some not so great results in the last few races, so maybe just a little bit off form towards the end of the season. That's allowed Boybegum and Freelix to catch back up. But yeah, a three-way fight with three teams, three drivers from three different teams, from Kraken Esports, CP Motorsports, and Respawn Esports. So I'm very much looking forward to this one, and we're going to be doing some math on our calculators, I think, during the race.
Yeah, something else to keep in mind as well is being Monza, lots of high-speed sections. It is known as the Temple of Speed. And two of those drivers, Bumcrack and Freelix, they are in the preferred car that you would want to be in for this race, the Supra, while Boybegum is in the McLaren. It's a little bit... it's not as quick in a straight line as the Supra, but it has its own strengths, and a lot of people are tipping the McLaren to be a dark horse in tonight's proceedings. So watch out for the McLaren as opposed to the Toyota Supras, who are battling in tonight's decider, I guess you could call it. So yeah, I don't think we keep these guys waiting any longer. How about we get straight into this Division 3 qualifying, get things started here at Monza?
I think we do that. So qualifying has now begun. Boybegum. I was about to say my money today is on Boybegum. But what I actually meant to say was qualifying has begun. So let's get in there. Let's get in there and have a little look.
As qualifying is a go here at Monza. As the first cars start to peel out of the pit lane. It is, of course, the P2 driver, Boybegum, first one out on track, followed by the Deeds car of Daz here tonight. Freelix, the man in third place on track, which is nice to see. And Bumcrack, the current championship leader, who needs to just complete the deal, seal the deal here tonight. Fourth man out on track. The Stranger just behind him in the Doghouse Alfa Romeo, fifth person out on track. Carbon Boy, the first of the Obsession Motorsport cars with the orange wheels, sixth man on track. Simono just behind him, Prua in seventh position. Just behind Prua we see Shizer running a very special livery tonight, and it needs to be said, this livery was made by Shizer himself. All the Brocchio 5 sim racing cars will be running this livery tonight. It's a very important issue to, in particularly Shizer, and to a lot of people here in Sector 1. Hashtag it ain't weak to speak. Men's mental health, it's a big issue in our world. And Shizer giving some love where it needs to happen, and running that livery tonight to show his compassion. To the rest of Sector 1, it's nice to see such a good cause being shown as a major sponsor on one of the cars, so nice to see that on the Brocchio 5 sim racing cars here tonight.
And it is beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful silver. It's got all the logos that you'd want to have on there. Next Level Racing, Sector 1, on the 88 car. Absolutely beautiful livery. Looking forward to seeing that in the other races as well. But yeah, a very, very important issue. I have to admit, Shizer is a bit of a role model in Sector 1 for speaking about issues and other things related to that. So good on him. Really happy.
It's really nice to see. So if you have any questions or anything like that, I'm sure anyone in Sector 1 is available to talk. Make sure you reach out if you need the help. And yeah, it's just nice to see such a good cause being shown on our cars. But looking back up to Budsy, the ISA car. ISA also have a new livery tonight. Would you be able to tell us some more about this livery, CGK?
I certainly can. Yes, we've gone from blue to sort of blue-purple-ish, and now we're with the green style. As there's a little bit of racing action between Prua and Budsy going on right now. Prua's a bit out of turn one. Budsy's trying to get past, but not going to be able to.
Flashing the lights there as well.
He is indeed. He's saying, please, please, out of my way. But that is not how things work in qualifying, unfortunately for him. But no, this is our new Black Dog Institute racing livery. I have yet to have a proper conversation about exactly what that entails, but it is beautiful green, and that Porsche is looking fine as ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe Black Dog is also men's mental health as well, so yet another great livery supporting such an awesome cause as well. So looking back down to the 10th man on track at the moment, it is Gur. Prua runs wide on the exit of Ascari there, but Gur running the Datsun Mercedes, 10th man on track. Just behind him we see Levenspiel in the Red Mist car, who is covering off from Sizzling Sausage. Oh no, it's who am I looking at? I think that
Shizer,
the timing. I think the timing screens are a bit messed up there, so that is Shizer there. As we see the first few times coming in, and quite crucially, after the first lap, Boybagum is top of the times with a 1:48.8. That is massive, boosting his chances at the start of this qualifying session.
Exactly right. And the top three here are the top three in the championship, all contending for that first position spot. Mr. Bumcrack is just about 3.3 of a second now behind Boybagum, and he'll try and pick up some speed. And then Felix as well, just behind, only 10 one-hundredths of a second behind Mr. Bumcrack. So these top three are really going for it. Though can't rule out the stranger in that little Alpha that is 21 hundredths of a second off the back of Felix at the moment. But they will be going for their second lap here. And I mean, this is one thing I've been wondering about here is, you know, do you run into the pit lane here and grab a new set of tires? Is it worth it? I don't think it is this time, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on who's jumping into the pit lanes after this lap. We are almost at halfway through qualifying already, Lemosius.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people were quick to write off the Alfa Romeo here tonight, but Stranger showing that little Alpha does have some pace, and knowing its fuel saving and tire saving habits, the Alfa Romeo could be potentially in the mix here tonight as one of the better cars. It's proving that already under the hands of the Stranger, who's currently sitting in P4 in the qualifying session. As he comes through Parabolica, let's see if he'll be setting another lap on the power early. Try and use that track limits as much as possible to slingshot his way all the way across. Felix to the top of the times. Stranger does not improve, but Carbon Boy slots himself into P5. Budsy to the top of the times. He's getting involved in the championship fight here. Prua into P3 as well. Livingspiel to P5. Bumcrack all the way down to 7th. As he's sideways, he's parked. Oh dear, he's had an issue there. He's reversing backwards at the Redfield chicane, turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, as a race director, I have to admit, I can't condone the reversing in the racetrack at all, at any part of the circuit, even though that was a fairly safe place to be doing it. Wonder what's happened there. I think he might have just wanted to back out and get slightly off that racing line that he thought he might have been over. Don't think there's anything technical going on with the car. I
don't know. That would be my first thought. Maybe thought he was a bit too far forwards, obstructing the cars. So just letting him through, reversing a little bit, which, I mean, definitely an interesting strategy. But there's 3 minutes remaining in the session, so Bumcrack really needs to get his way up the timing charts. As P7, that's not going to do it at the moment. But yeah, Budsy with P1 in the Porsche, which is funny enough not a Supra, leading the way, but just behind him it's 2 Supras in Felix and Prua.
Only 2 tenths in it to Felix, though. Only 2 tenths in it at the moment. Budsy's going to have to continue to push that Porsche as hard as he can. He's been a real contender in these last few races, Lenosius. He's been up there, he's been putting in good performances, getting good results. That's why he's 4th in the championship as it stands right now. As you said earlier, he's definitely out of the running for first position, but if the bad results comes the way of Felix or Boybagum,
to the top of the times.
Ooh.
Goes 300ths quicker than Budsy, and Levenspiel into P3 as well. So none of the top 3 contenders are in the top 4. I mean, not in the top 3. I mean, because Felix is in 4th position, which is very, very interesting. Because Bumcrack's 8th, Boybagum 6th. Freelix 4th. So that has huge implications on this championship.
This is massive. I'm very surprised not to see them up there in the top 3, of course. But Boybegum just set the purple lap. He's gone purple in Sector 1, ironically, of Monza. So he's back on the pace and trying to push it. But you're right, they may have just pushed it a little bit too far and not got the times that they need to. They're going to be struggling. I mean, if we've got a race between the top 3 of the championship who are below the top 3 and rather spread out. I mean, 4th Freelix, 6th Boybegum, Bumcrack's in 8th at the moment, stuck behind Sizzling Sausage.
Quite crucially for Bumcrack, we're just riding on board with him now. Oh, that's a stranger! Oh, go!
Yeah, has gone off and yeah, made a little bit of a mistake there at Lesmos 1 and decided to take a little hiatus onto the grass over there. It is nice out there, that part of the track, but you don't want to put a race car out there.
As Bumcrack overtakes Sizzling Sausage into the Ascara chicane now. Can he get it stopped? He is not purple. That's crucial. It's 8/10 to Carbon Boy ahead.
He will
It's
get
a good
one
exit.
more lap.
Oh,
dear.
strangers into the wall. Oh, evasive action from Bumcrack to not run up the back of Carbon Boy. Boybegum improves his lap time, goes 6th. Doesn't improve his position, however. Gets a slow down for the final corner here, Bumcrack. He's going to get one more opportunity at it. Let's see what this lap time is going to be. 45, 6, 7, 8. He's going to be down. He is very much down. So he's going to have one more lap to try and get it done.
The good thing is he's got clean air in front of him, Lenocious, so at least he'll be able to have a focus lap here, but he has to get this right. He is at risk of dropping into the bottom, out of the top 10 here in qualifying. Be a disaster for him. Oh, Sizzling Sausage nearly rear ends him as well. Oh, be careful, chaps. 0.5 second penalty for Daz, who gets out of the way nicely. Carbon Boy still going purple, though.
As Black Project will be the first of the finishers in this qualifying session, down in last position in the Ferrari. Don't tell the Tifosi that. As Carbon Boy comes through the first Lesmo. And using all of the track limits out on that AstroTurf, gets it slowed down for the second Lesmo as Black Project gets himself up into P13 ahead of Killer on the Loose.
Freelix has picked up a 0.5 second penalty on this last lap. He will not be improving.
That is crucial. Oh dear. As we see, Boybegum will be the first to set a lap time here at Monza. Is he up or down? We don't know. But judging by the lap times, it looks like it could be a representative lap time. He needs to get as much of an advantage on Bumcrack as possible. Rounding the Parabolica. Onto the final straight, the pit straight, gets the power down. Edges towards the finish line. What's it going to be? He is very much down. As we look back to Bumcrack. Do we see any improvement from Carbon Boy first of all? No, we don't. Bumcrack. Surely he improves. Levenspiel at the top of the times for Red Mist. They might have stolen this in the dying embers as Bumcrack can only go 7th. Oh dear. That's huge.
Oh, what have we just witnessed, Lenocious? Right, so the top 3 of the championship, but that's Freelix in 4th. He's the top of them, and he's ironically 3rd. Then Boybegum, who's 2nd in the championship, 6th, and then Bumcrack just behind him in 7th place. He's leading our championship. What a lap from Levenspiel that was!
Very, very clutch for the Red Mist driver as he takes pole position in the dying embers of that qualifying session.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
As we have a look at the official results for that qualifying session. This is how they will line up in a moment's time. Levenspiel takes pole position by 0.04 of a second over Carbon Boy. This is how close it is, as Budsy is under 1/10 to Levenspiel as well, though his top 3 separated by just 0.75 of a tenth. And Freelix, one of the people in contention for this championship, in 4th position on the grid, only the 2nd row. And right behind him is Boybegum, who lines up on the 3rd row of the grid, and Bumcrack can only muster the 4th row of the grid. That is massive, as Bumcrack needs to get into the top 5 to seal this championship.
He does. He's got a lot of work to do today. I mean, so does Boybegum at the end of the day. The only person here with a little bit of a free pass in a way is Freelix. But we're going to have our calculators out, I think, quite a lot more than we expected tonight, Lalocious. If this is where they're going to end up finishing. But we do know that Bumcrack, Boybegum, and Freelix are all incredibly fast. They are surrounded by other incredibly fast drivers. But at Monza, what a setup for a finale.
Yeah. I think we're all expecting those top three in the championship to sort of edge away at the front of the grid, hoping that they would have put in quite a bit of practice for this event. But seeing them so far down the order, that's massive for this championship. That throws in another spanner in the works. That it'll just be so interesting to see how things play out as we continue on into the race, which we should be lining up momentarily on the grid. But oh wow, that just has massive implications for this championship.
Yeah, and as we know, Turn 1 Monza, things can go all sorts of different directions. As Race Director, I'll be keeping an eye out for any red flags we need to put up. But here we go, Lenocious. We're on for quite the finale here in Div 3. Let's get this going.
Here we go. The guys lined up on the grid. Division 3 race, round 12 here at Monza. Championships not decided. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Revs rising. They're out and racing here at Monza Division 3 as they barrel down towards the first turn. Livingspiel doesn't quite get the start he wanted. Carbon Boy manages to get down the inside. It looks like Brewer's down the inside of Freelix, and Boybegum trying to find room, but he has a bit of a wiggle under brakes as everybody keeps it pretty much calm. But such a bottleneck through this Redifio chicane that we see so often with these starts at Monza. But Carbon Boy goes into the lead of the race for Obsession Motorsports. Freelix manages to hold on to P4, P6 for Boybegum. And where is Bumcrack? Down in P9. He's lost so many positions.
Yeah, he's had a fast Alpha in the Stranger come past him, as well as Sizzling Sausage, and he's just got a rubbish start off the line. Don't think anything happened in Turn 1.
With Levenspiel. Oh dear. Budsy's been had a little bit of contact and he's been shuffled out all the way down to 5th position now for the ISA car as these guys are 3 wide through the first Lesbo. Holy moly.
I was about to say my blood pressure as Race Director has gone down. It hasn't.
As these guys have so much yet to prove. The next 24.5 laps still going as Freelix up into P2. This is crucial for his championship hopes.
The championship, Lenocious, is being fought in P6, P7 and P8 right now. What are we watching?
Huge contact! Levenspiel and Stranger are off! And that promotes Boybegum and Bumcrack up 2 positions as they've gone out at the Ascari chicane. Oh dear.
Back Project serving a penalty down the back straight, 3 wide between Shiza Daz, Sizzling Sausage and Gurr. Oh, Sizzling Sausage became the meat in between the hot dog. Oof.
Daz has run wide in the background, losing a bunch of positions. No, he's stopped. He can't get. Oh no, who's stopped down there? I think it's P13. Okay, yeah, Livingspiel and Stranger back there in the background as this drama after the first lap continues on. As we see Freelix on an absolute charge on Carbon Boy, shows the nose down the inside, can't quite get the move done as we have a look back to the second battle pack here. Brewer, Boybegum and Bumcrack. Bumcrack has closed right up underneath the rear wing of Boybegum now, so this is crucial. Oh wow, this is just intense racing action as these guys head down towards De La Roggia chicane through Curva Grande.
That's right, Carbboy now leading this race. Freelix is in behind him, so Freelix, out of the 3 fighting for the top of the championship, Freelix has had the best start so far after lap 2, but hold your breath everyone, keep that heart rate up because there's 23 laps to go in this race.
As Brewer showing us why he's known as Wide Hips, holding up the 2 championship contenders. As it stands, this would not be enough for Boybegum to win it, but we'll just have to have a check. I think Freelix might be able to get over the line.
I told you we were going to get these calculators out. We're going to have to do some math all the way through here. Boy Begum is still trying to find a way past Prua, but Prua is beautifully putting that car right in the middle of the road. Through Ascari they go, and out onto the back straight. Boy Begum's run a little bit wide there, unfortunately for him, but he's still going to have the run. Prua going defensive already as they get towards Parabolica.
Absolutely. So as it stands, there would be a 7-point difference between Freelix and Bumcrack, so that would not be enough to give Freelix the championship, as it is an 11-point gap between those two. As he
Freelix
does set the fastest
lap
lap of the time, immediately improved by Budsy. It's a 49. Oh, he's going for the lead of the race here, Freelix. Gets it down the inside into Redifio. Does he outbrake himself? No, perfectly brakes for Redifio. And now Carbon Boy. Now he's on the chase. He's looking for this race win on Freelix. So as it stands, and now, as we look at it, it would go towards, still going towards Bumcrack at this stage, as that is a 10-point difference between the two.
As long as he stays in 5th, as you said earlier, Lenocious, as long as he stays in 5th and finishes 5th, he will take the championship. If he slips back any further in this grid, and he's got Boy Begum right behind him in P6, he will potentially lose this championship if Freelix can come and take a victory here.
Absolutely. As we'll just have a look on the next level racing action replay at that incident over at the Ascari chicane on lap 1 between, I believe it was Levenspiel and Stranger. As what's happened here? It looked like Stranger got under the back of Levenspiel, and Prua tried to duck it down the inside, but 3-1 was not going to work on this occasion, as Bumcrack looking for a move on Prua. That's a crucial move for Bumcrack at this stage of the race.
No. Prua has tapped the back of Bumcrack and unfortunately sent himself spinning up into the wall at Ascari as well.
Huge contact between Levenspiel and Prua, and Daz as well. Oh dear. As Levenspiel's facing the wrong way, this pole position has gone from bad to worse for Levenspiel, and he finds himself down in 12th position. And Daz off the track as well, down in 14th.
And Boy Begum has just overtaken Bumcrack for 4th position, so they've swapped once again. Lenocious, there's so much going on. I hope we can get a replay of what's just happened at the Ascari, because we saw Prua unfortunately getting overtaken there and then running into the wall. Was it a bad rejoin maybe, or something like that happened?
Judging by the replay, I believe it could be, as it looked as though Prua got spat out straight onto the racing line, and Levenspiel had nowhere to go. He ran up the back of Prua, and then Daz ran up the back of Levenspiel, who was stopped dead after the contact with Prua. So those three, unfortunately, are out of the runnings at this stage of the race. But as it stands, Bumcrack, he's under a lot of pressure from the BRZ of Shiza. Who would have thought that? A Supra under threat from a BRZ at Monza.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it. Let's just put it that way. But he's been sitting beautifully in the slipstream behind this battle pack and doing incredibly well. So Shiza is on for a very nice finish here in his beautiful silver BRZ today. I think if he uses that slipstream correctly, he can hold on to the back of these chaps. He will be faster through the corners.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you say we get a bit of a run through on what each of the drivers are running in terms of tyres, as that has a massive implication on how this race will be running in the next few laps.
Couldn't agree more. So here we are for our tyre and fuel update, and we will be going through, starting with Freelix, who's out to a good lead now, 3.3 seconds ahead. Racing soft tyres is the choice for Freelix. He's at about 60% of his fuel, about 80% wear on his tyres at the moment. Behind him, Carbon Boy, and this is really amazing. Hats off to Carbon Boy. He's on the racing medium tyres, and he's been holding off all the competitors around him who are on soft tyres. He's got about the same amount of fuel as Freelix ahead, and but he hasn't worn those mediums out particularly much, which is good news for him. Budsy,
thought about the move, but wisely backed down.
Think about that. He had a long ponder about that one. That was a chess move, kind of thought about that. But he's done well to pull out of it, because he wasn't gonna send it there. But I haven't run into Della Roger. Yeah, he might do. As he does do that. Racing soft tyres on Budsy. They're slightly more worn than Freelix, and he's running about the same amount of fuel. Oh, careful up the outside there.
That's tight. Oh, huge contact between these two. Oh, that's a very similar move to what we saw at Monza in the Formula 1 race earlier this season.
I was about to say that because at least they don't get to interlock wheels there. Budsy was actually using Carbon Boy, who was probably counter-steering the opposite direction, to stay on track and stay straight. So Budsy's done very well there. Maybe like blending in with the trees and the grass here around, and didn't quite notice the difference between his car bonnet and the grass on the side of the track. Looking down the field at 4th place, it's Boy Begum on racing soft tyres. He's using a bit more fuel than those around him. But they're pretty okay, those tyres. Racing softs at about 78% or so. Bum Crack here is looking good on tyres. He's about equal on fuel to Boy Begum ahead. He has dropped back from Boy Begum by about 2.2 seconds. So might be trying to look after the fuel and tyres just a little bit more throughout this race, which is allowing S1 Shizer, who's got the racing softs as well. So as you can see, the only person in the top 6 running mediums is Carbon Boy in P2. Same fuel for Shizer, same amount, about 51% on board as Bumcrack and Boy Begum ahead. Carbon Boy does come into the pits though. Okay.
Lap 5. That's definitely... it makes sense because of the lower tyre wear. There's not many corners on this track, so getting off the medium tyres as soon as possible to chuck on a pair of soft tyres. So we'll see how that plays out for him. Maybe coming out in a bit of clean air for Carbon Boy.
Yeah, that can be a good strategy. Back to Black Project. So it was the top 6 that there was only one runner of the mediums, and now there still is, but it's no longer Carbon Boy. It's now Black Project who we're on board with right now. Looking very good on the tyres. He's got a little bit more fuel than the rest of the grid, 55% still on board. Then we go back to Gur, who's also on the racing medium tyres. He's used a lot of fuel though. He's under 50% by a little bit. And looking good on his tyres though. Sizzling Sausage, racing mediums as well, under 50% as well. Liebenspiel on the racing soft tyres. He was on the same strategy as those at the top of the grid, using a lot of his fuel now. Just gone purple in Sector 1 has Liebenspiel, so he's going to be fighting back throughout the rest of this race, but he's using a lot of tyres to do so. The Stranger on the racing mediums using quite a lot of fuel, not what we usually see with the Alpha. Usually it's a bit more conservative on its fuel, but he's really putting the pedal to the metal at the moment and trying to hang on to the back of Liebenspiel in P9. About 85% of his tyres still remaining. Daz on the racing softs, and he is running at about 48% of his fuel. Little bit of tyre wear on those racing softs, nothing to write home about. Then we've got Carbon Boy again, now fresh racing softs, full fuel, that's about 98% of his fuel. Kibler on Deleuze, racing medium tyres, looking very, very fresh, and a full tank of fuel. I think he's just come into the pits. I
think so.
Yeah, he's got a full tank of fuel.
And Brewer as well behind. Surely, I think these two were in the pits. Or the back 3 were in the pits. And they're they're now all on softs? Is that correct?
Killer on Deleuze is on mediums. I don't think he's changed his tyres. I think he's just got in for fuel, which is bizarre because unless he came in on lap 1 or something, which I don't think he did, he's got used mediums.
It's an out lap.
At least.
It does say
it is an out lap. I don't think he's changed his tyres, Lavicious.
That's definitely an interesting call. Let's just have a look at let's just have a look at Carbon Boy. I don't think he's even put fuel in. Because have a look at the difference in lap... Oh, wait, no. We'll see as he comes around the corner. Where that'll tell us what's happening here. As he's under threat from Brewer. It's a 210 as opposed to Carbon Boy's 209. Yeah, so I don't know. Killer maybe he was...
He's got more fuel than both of them on board. So he must have taken fuel, but he just hasn't changed his tyres for whatever reason. Which is very, very odd, and we don't allow people to put on new sets of tyres, so he's definitely stayed on the same tyres. Brewer's on fresh softs, and Carbon Boy's on fresh soft tyres, so both of them coming in at the same time, obviously teammates on the same strategy. But yeah, very odd. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, not too sure what's been going on there down at the Lightning Garage, but might be able to hear some more from him after the race on that strategy. Maybe, I'm thinking, maybe Brewer and Killer were fighting, and then Brewer's gone to pit, and he's brought Killer with him. If you can sort of imagine what I'm...
Well, we did see in a practice start, when Killer on the Loose finished the third practice start, he did decide to spin himself into the pit, so maybe he's decided to make that kind of excursion again. It's entirely possible.
Maybe.
but that would be very funny as well.
So Gerson as well on lap 7 of 25. He's off the mediums as well into the pits. But as it stands, Boybagum and Bumcrack, P3 and P4 respectively, and a couple of spanners thrown in the works there, especially Carbon Boy, starting the race on the medium tyre, which that's pretty much set him up for this race. If he can just convert it, no mistakes for Carbon Boy, as he was only within 3.5 seconds of Felix after those first 5 laps, sitting in P2. So yeah, that's massive for Carbon Boy if you can get onto the soft tyres and put in some really good stints.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah, if he can get those soft tyres activated and put in those good clean laps, he's going to be right back at the top by the end of this race. I've just been keeping an eye on Liebenspiel and Sizzling Sausage, who've been battling. We just had a moment down into turn 1. Liebenspiel got the overspeed on the GTR in his Supra.
Oh, he also has the
and
fastest
then,
lap.
Sizzling Sausage, he has. He set the fastest lap, overtook Sizzling Sausage, and Sizzling Sausage made the most unbelievable send back down the inside, and got the move, returned essentially. But he's now picked up a 0.5 second penalty. He has been overtaken again. He's much better on the brakes right now, is the GTR, because he's running on medium tyres with a lot more life, as opposed to Liebenspiel's softs, which are looking a little unhealthy, probably the unhealthiest on the grid, Aloysius.
As these guys head down the back straight down towards Parabolica, which, as Boybagum's in. That's an early snap off the soft tyres, but as you said, he's been using a lot of fuel, so it could be a fuel stop rather than a tyre stop for Boybagum, as on the start of lap 9 and end of lap 8, he's into the pits. The CP garage having to service that car, new pair of tyres on it, and a bit of fuel back into the tank. As Felix, he's had a bit of a mistake on that last lap, as Budsy has closed up about a second or so. 1 minute 50.7 for Felix on that last lap, potentially a penalty serve, as he's flashing his lights. Maybe you can hear us on stream. I don't know, maybe he has the plane in the background.
Yeah, maybe so. And we'll start talking. He's trying to ward off the commentator's curse that may have come his way on the previous lap, or maybe he thought it did. We weren't on board with him at that time, but he just went purple in sector 1 by 0.3 of a second, Aloysius. So I get the feeling he's now turned up the wick on that car and is sending it. We'll probably want to cover off the pit stop that Boybagum's just done.
I think so, but Budsy behind has a half-second penalty.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And Budsy's very low on fuel and tyres as well. I think the ISA car is going to have to come into the pits this time. He's already got that penalty, and he will serve that in just a moment down the back straight. But yeah, he might be able to get round for one more, but if I were him at the moment, I probably wouldn't. Nonetheless, Bumcrack behind is sitting on about 10% of his fuel, so Bumcrack could stay out at this stage, I think.
If he can do one more lap, if the tyres allow him to, that's all that you need at this stage of the race. Getting those 10 laps soft stints in, as you know, does peel into the pits. Felix goes around again, but he also has a half-second penalty. Where's he picked that? Surely, oh, look at how close he is to the fastest lap. Couple of hundredths slower, 3 hundredths off that time that Liebenspiel set, but he should have another soft stint in him, so I expect him to get at least another couple of cracks at it. But Shizer into P2 in the BRZ with that awesome livery, supporting an awesome cause, and yeah, currently sitting on the podium. I mean, a couple of pit stops in hand, but yeah, at the moment P2 on track for Shizer in the Brocchio 5 game.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting things happen in the pit stop there. Budsy's come out on racing medium tyres. He hasn't filled up the field up completely. He's actually ahead of Boybagum now. So he's done very well to stay out in front of Boybagum, who's also on the racing mediums now. Bumcrack and Liebenspiel were also in the pits. Full tank of fuel for Bumcrack, and he's taking racing softs again. So he's already run a racing soft stint. He's going for another fast one now, hoping to get past Boybagum, which he inevitably will, and potentially Budsy, and then put in those good laps. Carbon Boy is way ahead of them, but he's also picked up a 1 second penalty for his troubles. And he will be pitting before them as well.
Yeah, that's true. As Carbon Boy, he is on a different strategy here tonight, so we're just going to need to keep monitoring him, as at this rate, should be looking at a lap 15 pit sort of approximation if he's given 5 laps to the mediums. And that 1 second penalty, it isn't going to serve him too well, as his Daz pit, I don't think he has. So Carbon Boy is actually ahead of Daz, who is yet to pit, so has a pit stop in hand, which is handy to know. As Freelix peels into the pits, 1% of fuel left in the tank. That respawn car running on hopes and fumes, and Shiza in as well.
Yeah, too right. Yeah, there was a fair bit of hopes in that. He would have been sweating a little bit towards the end of that lap. Shiza in, yes, he burnt a lot of his fuel in the last couple of laps. That elevates Black Project into P1, though he hasn't pitted. He's still got. He's running the mediums, and he's got 30% of his fuel still on board. He doesn't have to pit for another. Yeah, I think this is the one stop here from Black Project. Yes.
And the Ferrari is not the car that would first come to mind when you think one stop around Monza.
No,
but it looks like he's going for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he started at the back of the grid on qualifying. I think he's just said, look, I might as well try and run an alternative strategy. There's so much traffic in front of me. Even if I'm fast at running the 2-stop strategy here, I'm not going to get up to P1. Let's try and take some of that time out. Instead of being fast on track, let's be fast on strategy and avoid that extra pit stop. There is a fair amount of time to be lost here at Monza in your pit stop. You are running very, very fast down that main straight, and you can gain a lot of time by doing one less pit stop. So I don't know if this will work out entirely for him, but one to keep an eye on for sure. He's 13.8 seconds clear of Carbon Boy. Going to need to get past him.
Something interesting here with Carbon Boy and Freelix. What tyres is Freelix on?
Freelix is on the racing soft tyres.
Softs! Oh, that's massive, and they don't seem to be warmed up, as he's lost a second so far on this lap alone, but quite crucially, Carbon Boy pitting extremely early off those medium tyres. He's completely undercut Freelix.
He has, yeah. On that stint after his lap, he did 2:49s, which has really helped his cause there. A couple of 50s as well. His previous lap was the 51, so he definitely had a bit of an issue there, but yeah, he's cleared him by 2.3 seconds. I'll be very, very, very interested to see what Freelix's outlap is going to look like. Carbon Boy's outlap on his pit on lap 6 was 2:09, and this looked like a lot slower for Freelix on his outlap.
So what's happened here? Maybe he's just put more fuel in the car, as I think Carbon Boy only needed to put about 50% in.
Yes,
that's
I
how
think
much
that's
fuel
right.
he had for the stop, and now, yeah, that would make a lot of sense if it was a 2-minute in-lap, 9 seconds for half a tank, 9, yeah, okay. The math does work out there.
The math works out perfectly. We didn't even need our calculators for that, Ladocious. It is, yeah.
But as it stands, Freelix really struggling to get those tyres warmed up as he makes a mistake into the at the exit of Redifio, I should say. So we'll catch that on the Next Level Racing action replay. Just what happened there for Freelix. It looked like he just got the car a little bit unsettled coming out of the exit and crossed the gravel trap a little bit, losing a couple of tenths, but he's really struggling to get those tyres warmed up. It is soft tyre on soft tyre for Freelix and Carbon Boy, although Freelix has 5 lap newer tyres than Carbon Boy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm keeping an eye also on Bumcrack as well, because he's put a lot more fuel on board and fell behind Boybegum and Budsy, both of whom went onto less fuel and racing medium tyres. And he is coming up rapidly on the rear wing of Boybegum and will be looking to jump past them. He can go absolutely full throttle at the moment. Boybegum and Budsy will be doing their lowest stint now on the mediums, and Bumcrack needs to maximize this. Ideally, he needs to be in front of these two and running really consistent laps. He's in the low 49s, but he's going to need to find even more pace if he's going to, potentially protect himself from what will end up being a overcut from Boybegum and Budsy later in this race when they go back onto soft tires.
As Black Project's in on lap 12 with 1% in the tank, only 12 laps, 13 to go, and he has no fuel in the car.
Yep, that's very odd, because I thought he had 30%. I think he might have just been turning the wick back up. I get the feeling he was running a fuel map there for a long period of time. This will elevate Budsy, Boybegum, and Bumcrack. By the way, Boybegum trying a move on Budsy, trying to look there. For some reason, Bumcrack's decided not to take the slipstream from both of those two. Probably just expecting them and hoping them to fight on track and him just cruise on past without ruining his tyres or coming into contact with those two at all.
Yeah, we saw through this first stint that Budsy was really aggressive, so just trying to stay away from that battle, keep his championship hopes alive for Bumcrack. Bumcrack knows he just needs to be, at the moment, he could be in the top 8 and still take this championship, because as it stands, Freelix P2 doesn't have the fastest lap either, does Freelix, coming a couple of hundredths short of Levenspiel's lap there. But yeah, so Bumcrack just needs to drive his race. He doesn't necessarily need to have a flashy result here. He just needs to do what he needs to do to just get over the line. And if he can do that, then yeah, that's the championship given to Bumcrack. So yeah, he knows that he just needs to do a sensible drive, keep himself in the mix, and it'll come his way. The championship will come to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think
right.
that's reflecting directly into his driving.
It certainly is, because he could have taken that slipstream. He could have made a dive on both of them into turn 1 quite easily. The Supra is much faster, especially with the slipstream, than both the McLaren and the Porsche ahead of him. But he knows that these two are going to be going at it. He does not want to be the third wheel in a race down into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. As these guys head down towards Parabolica, which I believe was actually renamed to the Alboreto, the Curva
Yes.
de Alboreto, but everybody just calls it Parabolica. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think you can be a circuit organizer and change the name of a corner, and no one is going to care. A good example is Valencia, where turn 4 is now Terrell, but it's just still being called turn 4. I was watching some races there recently, and yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? And Parabolica being such a famous corner, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to call it anything different.
Yeah. Which I think even on like the F1 broadcast and stuff, the commentators, because it was renamed back in 2021, and I think since then they've still been calling it Parabolica, just because that's what everybody knows it by.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue. Oh, Butsy's had an issue.
Oh dear, what's happened there?
I think he just got loose and did an incorrect downshift, it looks like, because he's come into that corner in 4. So I think he might have hit the downshift button, and the car's just said no thank you.
Because we were on board with him, and then see if we caught it. Maybe not. We'll have a look. Because we switched away, and then we came back to him. Oh yeah, I'm not too sure. He just sort of like, maybe. Okay, could this be that Budsy knows these guys are in a championship fight? Has he let them go?
Wow.
Has
I mean,
he?
all I can say is that we haven't discussed anything like that in the ISA Esports garage, and if he's done so, I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a bizarre call if he has done so. Regardless, he's still technically in a fight for P3 if he, had a really good result here. So giving up points is never a great idea. I mean, sort of not in the fight at the same time. He's done it again. Yeah, he's shifting. He's downshift. I can see it, Lenosius. I'm looking at the telemetry right now. He downshifted on the straight from 5th to 4th.
Is this a gearbox malfunction? Is he having issues with the Porsche's sequential gear shifting?
It appears so. Yes, I will try and get a report from the pit lane on this and see what's happening in the ISA garage. He certainly didn't let them through on purpose, everyone. Just so you know, as much as he is a gentleman, I don't think that was on purpose, because those downshifts are looking very, very sketchy right now. He's doing 205th, and then the thing just downshifts to 4th, and the car just comes to a grinding halt. So not intentional. I'll go in and have a little chat with the ISA chaps and see what I can find out, Lenosius.
Thanks, CGK. But yeah, that's a big issue for the Porsche. If it's having Oh, it sounded like it did it again coming into De La Rogia. You could just hear that engine screaming, banging off the limiter. So, ooh,
yeah, I've just had a report in from the ISA garage. Yeah, so it's the gear shifts into 5th is causing some sort of ECU issue, which is dropping it back to 4th. It's not happy with 5th and 6th. He's tried to jump. We've told him to jump over to 6th gear, but 6th is also having the same problem. So he's stuck at a maximum of 4th gear at the moment, Lenosius.
Dear, which I think what he's doing, I think I can see his hazard lights are on, so I think down the straight to get that straight line speed, I think he's putting the game on pause. Or is he? No, I think he is just paused. So he's trying to solve the issue, potentially reconnecting his steering wheel. So, oh dear, that's
Oh dear, yes. So I thought we turned that setting off. Anyway, I'll have to double check that with the with my settings.
Into the pits on lap 15. Fuel time to the T. as he completes his final stop. Right on schedule. I see. I know what's happening.
Yeah, no, we're still staying up to date with this. So he'll be going into one of the racing soft set here, Lenosius. The question is how much. Yep. The question is how much fuel both of these two take, and Felix is still out there. You imagine it. So there's we've got 9 laps remaining in this race. Felix is out there with half a tank left. Felix could be trying to get to the end here. Yeah, I think he is.
Completely brimmed to the tank there, Carbon Boy, because when you're pushing, the Supra uses about 10% per lap, so for 10 lap stint, yeah, you're expecting to use a full tank, so, yeah, Carbon Boy taking no chances, wants to be in full push mode for this final stint, and he doesn't have as much clean air as he probably would have liked. I mean, 6.5 seconds to Black Project, who is on the 1 stop, so that gap's halved. Black Project and Carbon Boy were about level pegging, about 13 seconds between them when Carbon Boy took the, no, it was Black Project that took the stop to put him behind Carbon Boy. And that gap was about 13 seconds, now down to 6.5. So we're at the halfway point, well, just past the halfway point. I mean, that's going to be tight, but I hear that the fuel save could be up to about 2 seconds a lap slower. So
we're going to see soon because Felix is currently on a fuel save right now. I'm just looking at his gear shifts. He's in the lead at the moment, but he is definitely not revving this thing out. So we'll see. He set a 149.1 on the previous lap. What is this going to be here? I think it might be about the same. It's actually faster than that, 48.9. Oh no, sorry, slightly slower, I should say. But it sounds like to me, just based on his gear shift, it sounds like he's trying to save fuel. The question is, can he keep it out there for another 8 laps? If it's, so if it's 10% on a full fuel run, and you do know best here because you drive this car. If you fuel save, are you looking at what, 7%, 6%? Surely
maybe not that much.
5%.
I mean, the Supra isn't a saving car. It doesn't like to save as much as some other cars. So the potential to save and keep lap time up, it isn't quite there for the Supra. But I think what Felix is doing... Oh, that is a barrier in the middle of the track. But I think what Felix is doing is saving just a little bit of fuel for short shifting, because the Supra does like it when you sort of... I think a lot of people call it the Supra effect. Supra effect. Where essentially you shift it at about 50-60% mark, doesn't lose any time, it really likes it there, and you can save just that little bit of fuel, which come pit stop time, that translates directly into lap time. 5% is worth a second here. That's the fuel multiplier that we use in the pit lane, the refuel rate. So yeah, that 5% is worth an extra second, so at this point of the race, I mean, for a negligible amount of time lost, each lap you'll probably be saving about 1 to 2%. So, yeah, assuming he's coming in lap 19, lap 20, I mean, that's worth like, what, 5, 6, 7% at the moment. So that's a second and a bit, second and a half right there for,
Makes sense.
For Felix.
I think we're about to see Boybegum coming to the pit.
Budsy's, okay. Budsy was having big difficulties as he has retired from the race, I believe.
No. Yes, he has.
Yeah, unfortunate for Budsy with that gearbox malfunction, the gearbox failure. We saw it happen to Brock Feeney at the Bathurst 1000, and now it's heartbreak for Budsy, who was looking so good in this race for a podium, but unfortunately the malfunction with the gearbox has seen him retire that car back in the garage.
Keep an eye on Carbon Boy now. He's going to be across the line, and he's going to be passing both Boybegum and Bumcrack. He's still got most of his fuel on board, as we know. And yeah, this is going to get interesting. Shizer and Black Project. Black Project doesn't need to pit again. Shizer definitely needs to pit again. But the rest do not need to. And for a moment there, Delicious, we did have Felix, Boybegum, and Bumcrack in the top three. The top 3 in the championship. That is now changed. Bumcrack has gotten out ahead of Boybegum because he was saving more fuel, but is now on the medium tyres. Boybegum is out. He's got more fuel in the tank now, of course. He's on the racing softs and will be charging down a 3-second gap to Mr. Bumcrack.
So what's fuel looking like for Black Project at this rate, at this stage of the race? We're 7 laps in. He's about halfway through his stint. What's fuel looking like?
he is doing a great job with fuel right now. He is at 50% of his fuel with 7 laps to go, and his pit stop was, let me count this down, 5 laps ago. So if he can fuel save, he's been fuel saving a little bit more now than he has been at the start. But he's on the racing soft tyres, which are looking a little bit warm, but plenty of life in them still, setting 1 minute 50s. He is good to the end. I mean, if he can fuel save just enough, he will get to the end. But Carbon Boy's going to be coming up behind him very, very shortly, who has set the fastest lap before his pit stop, is on good fuel, on fresh racing softs, and that gap is going to reduce rapidly. So Black Project holding on to a P3 here. I'd say probably unlikely, but it nearly paid off.
I mean, looking at that gap between Carbon Boy and Black Project, it seems to be dropping about 1 second per lap as we see Shizer into the pit lane. It's rough for Black Project because at the same time we saw Budsy down and out. I mean, pretty much with that retirement. However, that meant that Bumcrack would essentially be promoted an extra position as opposed to Freelix, who does still need to take a pit stop, but he is currently leading the race. But
yeah, but I'm just looking at his field. Freelix is going to have to pit again, of course.
So yeah, okay. I'm just thinking, could Black Project throw a spanner in the works? I think we're riding him off for the race win, and potentially a second or third. But how far down is he going to drop? Is he going to be far enough ahead of Bumcrack? That gap to Bumcrack is about 11 or 12 seconds at this stage of the race. 6 laps left, 2 seconds a lap. Let's have a look at Bumcrack. He is onto the medium tyre now, so he should be setting 149s, 150s. And that's about the pace that Black Project is setting. So if we just do the math in our head, they're pretty much bang on. He's bang on to catch him by the end of the race.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually. And Sicily Sausage is going to be out of this fight very, very soon. He'll have to come into the pit and has a penalty. So you're actually spot on there with Black Project could be ahead. He could actually potentially take a podium here still. I would also say that with Budsy retiring, regardless, Black Project's going to gain 1 position in this race. But gaining 10 is quite another thing. And we were talking earlier about how powerful it is to reduce the number of stops that you're on. We're starting to see how powerful that is now. Carbon Boy, who came out of the pits 3.7 or 4 seconds behind, is now only close to 2.6. Black Project's in the pit, but he's done this. Oh, Delocious, in a previous round, 3 rounds ago, we thought he was doing a 1-stop, and he wasn't, and it looked perfect for the 1-stop. He didn't do it, and he fell to the back of the grid. We are seeing a repeat of that again with Black Project.
He's pulled the trigger, and he's called it a day.
It's just for tyres, though. A little bit of fuel. I'm just staying on board with this.
Must have been for fuel.
60%. No, he had 40% of his fuel. He's gone to 65. He's going to come out of the pits, and Bumcrack and Boy will be ahead of him, and they're both with more fuel as well. And Shizer goes on 3-2. I'm very surprised here, Lenocious.
That's a rough call for Black Projects. We thought he might have been able to just stick it out there on the soft tyre with 35% in the tank, 5 laps to go, but yeah, I mean, he's pulled the pin, he's gone up. His fuel numbers must be something slightly different to what we're seeing, and he's thought the time lost to try and hold that pace is too much, so he's had to surrender back down to 6th position, which promotes Bumcrack into 3rd place.
Yeah, big switch around. And on top of that, with a 35-second lead at the moment, Freelix is about to come into the pits because he's out of fuel, so he has to pit this lap. The Stranger doesn't have to worry about those blue flags now, which is good. Carbon Boy just coming through Ascari. This is going to be close between these two, but Bumcrack is just coming up to Ascari. Yeah, this is going to be very close.
And I think, well, definitely, as it stands, Bumcrack has the championship in his grasp. He has one hand on the championship with a little bit of motorsport magic, a little bit of racing touch on it from the racing gods with Budsy going out, and then Black Project missing his fuel. But, Freelix, massive lead.
Yeah, he did. He's only taken 45% fuel, and he's on the racing medium tyre now. It was a very nice pit stop, nice and clean, nice and quick. So he has retained quite the lead, 7.8 seconds at this stage. Bumcrack's 10 seconds behind Carbon Boy. Boybegum's 1 second now behind Bumcrack, and Bumcrack doesn't need to worry as long as he finishes the race. If it's behind Boybegum, that's totally fine, and he will win the championship.
So Carbon Boy, to note as well, on lap 14, he took the fastest lap of the race with a 48.518. But this gap, Freelix and Carbon Boy, it's down to 7.5. It was 8.5. So Freelix really needs to get those tires warmed up. Remember, Carbon Boy is on a worn soft tire, while Freelix is on a fresh medium.
Exactly right. That gap has already come down from 8.6 seconds to 6.5 seconds. And I think Freelix might have just underfueled a little bit. I think he's going to be fuel saving. Carboy's not going to have to. He's at nearly 50%.
Going off that initial sort of fuel guess of about 10% per lap for the Supra, Freelix has only put 45 in. We saw that number as he came out of the pit lane, so he's going to have to fuel save once again.
Yes, he is. And all those behind him don't need to worry about it. Boybegum trying a move on Mr. Bumcrack. Mr. Bumcrack is probably just going to be quite happy to, as long as he knows the position he's in terms of the championship here, he probably doesn't need to fight this position too much. Boybegum's got the run on him now, so P3, P4 battling it out. But you're absolutely right. Everyone behind Freelix is fine. They don't need a fuel save. They'll be going absolutely ham to the end of this race, but Freelix is going to have to manage that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the tyre situation for Bumcrack Boybegum?
So Boybegum in 4th place is on racing softs. He's worn them by about 10%, so he's got about 90% grip left. He's actually doing a bump draft now, Mr. Bumcrack, so quite happy to let him stay ahead, which is interesting. Racing mediums, of course, for Bumcrack, and they are hardly worn at all. Both of them on the same amount of fuel, Aloysius.
Ooh, very interesting. As Bumcrack a little bit slow through the first half of the Ridafia chicane, just checking up Boybegum there a little bit as these guys head through onto the Curva Grande.
But Boybegum's just cut the corner a little bit. 1 second penalty for him.
Oh dear. I mean, yeah, this is he chucks it down the inside. Yeah, very opportunistic move, but he runs deep. Bumcrack looking around the outside, but Boybegum covering it off well. Bumcrack with the exit. They're going too wide into the first Lesmo. Bumcrack running very wide. Oh.
Just play it safe. Yeah. I mean, Boybegum's got that penalty. He's gone, well, there's no point in me helping Bumcrack out of this situation. I need to get a second ahead, and I can do that in about 2 corners, which is exactly what he's done, because he's on the fresh racing softs, and he's absolutely slammed the pedal down, and is going to go ahead. I think Bumcrack will get the position back, though.
Absolutely, because you lose about double what the penalty implies, so 1 second penalty, you lose about 2 seconds. It's going to be tight, actually. Bumcrack, 1.4 seconds. No, he's definitely going to get him.
Oh, no, he's got him, yeah. I was thinking for a second as well.
It's closer than we might think. No, he's definitely got him.
He's actually going to stay in slipstream, though, so Boybegum can just send it. Because look at the grip he's got. He's already... Oh, has to take a point action.
But he's still got the run.
He has got the run. It shows you the difference in pace between the racing softs and the racing mediums on a corner like that, which is very grip dependent. He's just gonna bump draft Mr. Bumcrack again. So he's quite happy sitting in 4th.
Shows the nose, potentially trying to tempt Bumcrack into a mistake.
Oh, now that is an interesting idea there, Lenocious. Yes, of course you can't go and punt your competitor around, but yeah, if you overspeed him a little bit more than he's expecting into turn 1, well, you know, I mean, I guess that'll be one for the stewards to think about.
Yeah. As we have a look back up to this battle between Freelix Carbon Boy, the gap is at 2 seconds. That's it.
Wow, that is evaporated. We're on lap 23, 2 laps left to go after this one. I think Carbon Boy will happily get past, but the fuel is starting to equalize between the two of them, so Freelix will be able to start putting the throttle down at some point, of course, both Supras, so it's not really an advantage unless Carbon Boy can get into that slipstream range, basically at the end of this lap or at the start of the next lap. And Felix is gone!
Oh, that's huge for the championship! Oh, Carbon Boy goes into the lead of the race, and Bumcrack, he's miles behind, so he's not going to get close, but that's just closed up Freelix's any advantage he did have. It's completely gone. Oh, that's disaster for Freelix. The Respawn Esports driver dropping to P2. Oh dear. As we have a look on the Next Level Racing action replays, we caught all of that live on the replay. And he just got unsettled on that inside curb halfway through a scar. He lost the rear, overcorrected into the wall, into the gravel. Oh, that's disaster for Freelix.
That is indeed a disaster. I mean, I think he had in mind he was going, okay, if Carbon gets into the slipstream, I'm done. So let's push. And he did, and unfortunately that didn't work out for him.
And Boybegum, Freelix, Boybegum and Bumcrack are side by side, but Bumcrack goes through around the outside. What a move by Bumcrack to get around the outside of Boybegum, but Boybegum looking for a way past, back past as they come through Curva Grande.
I hate to be this guy, but I really think Boybegum intentionally let him through there. He was very early on the brakes comparatively, very happy to have Bumcrack go and send it on the outside, and he slipped right back into position. It's just sort of cruising again. So yeah, very interesting stuff going on. But I do want to make a mention here quickly about Prua, because Prua has had he was in the wall, unfortunately, earlier in this race. He's back to 5th position. He's got Black Project closing in on him rapidly at the moment, and Shiza as well. But Prua's done very well to get himself back in this race.
Absolutely. There's 1 lap to go, and yeah, Prua, he's he's holding on to P5. About 4/10 difference between Prua and Black Project's lap times on the previous lap. So Prua, known as Wide Hips, that's his nickname, and he didn't get that nickname for nothing. I think he might actually hold on to the P5 here, just keeping Black Project behind. And that straight line speed of the Supra, it might just be a little bit too much for Black Project to get the move done. But we'll have to wait and see, as we see a little bit of mist coming over the track as well. As Carbon Boy begins the final lap, a 7-second lead over Freelix, who after that spin, all of his championship hopes are pretty much out of the window. But Bumcrack, he's holding off Boybegum at the moment, as Boybegum chucks it down the inside into the Redafia chicane. Has to think of it again. Second guesses himself.
Interestingly, though, I will say that Freelix being in this position will elevate him to P2 in the championship, Lanosis, over Boybegum. Boybegum could potentially mitigate that with a fastest lap if he had set that earlier on his fresher soft tyres without taking a penalty, which he's done again, another 1 second penalty, and also getting past Bumcrack, which he's sent it now. Now he's absolutely sent it up on De La Roggia.
I mean, that move was a bit how you going, but he's got past and he has a 1 second penalty. But I don't think Bumcrack will be too offended by that move, as he's won the championship. Like, there's no doubt on this final lap, unless he has a crash or a equipment malfunction, mechanical retirement. Oh, as we see Prua in the background almost losing it, holds on to P5. But we see Carbon Boy coming down the back straight into Parabolica. Curva Albert, I don't even know the name of it. It's something Albert.
It's Parabolica.
Yeah,
it's
Parabolica. Yeah. He'll take his first win in Sector 1 with fastest lap as well. What a drive from the Obsession Motorsports driver as he takes P1 with the orange wheels. Freelix will come home in P2, but no championship to his name. But it's all about this man, the Bumcrack for Kraken Esports. He's going to take the championship at a historic podium at the Temple of Speed. Is he actually even going to take it? I think Boybegum might get him. Oh, the second, 43 thousandths of a second. But Boybegum doesn't quite get the championship. Freelix doesn't either. It goes the way of Bumcrack as he takes P3 in the race and P1 in the standings. Prua will take P5, holds out over the Ferrari. P7 for Shiza, 8th is Livingspiel, Gur 9th, Sizzling Sausage 10th, and the last few trickle across the finish line. We see Kiara on the loose, Daz and the Stranger rounding out the pack here at the Temple of Speed.
Beautiful work. I think chat needs to start putting their driver of the day votes into chat so we can start talking about that at some point. I will also mention that Carbon Boy got across the line with I believe that's about 0.1% fuel remaining. So he calculated that to the wire and did incredibly well. A very, very solid victory from him today. I mean, I think he would have caught Frelix as well, regardless of Frelix's mistake at the end there. But Carbon Boy, hats off to him. But of course, a big winner. Can't go anywhere without mentioning him. Bumcrack has won the Div 3 championship, and what a championship it's been for him. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so good to see. What a race. That was spectacular to watch and call. And yeah, it wasn't looking great for Bumcrack at the start of the race. Quite a poor qualifying, but I mean, he's turned up the gas in the race, takes a podium, and yeah, that's all he had to do. He takes the championship in spectacular fashion. Awesome stuff for Bumcrack, the team owner over at Kraken Esports. And yeah, what a championship it's been for Bumcrack. I think we had we've had 3 leaders in this championship. Bumcrack taking over the last of those 3. Frelix leading from round 2 to round 4, I believe, while Black Project taking the first race all the way back in Nürburgring 24 weeks ago. Well, it's 27 weeks technically because we had the 3-week off.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
But yeah,
It's a long season. It's a long season, and to keep the focus across the entire season and to bring home enough results, you know, it's no small thing here at Sector 1. And you know, hats off to Bumcrack. At the end of the day, he's just done, you know, he's done enough. He's done enough to hold on, and a pleasure to have those 3 so close at the end. I mean, we really didn't think that was going to go the way that it did. We've ended up with all 3 of them in the top 4. So apart from Carbon Boy, I guess, spoiling their party, which, by the way, congratulations to Carbon Boy. Other than that, those 3 have really dominated the season. I think at the end of the day, you know, big hats off to those top 3 for putting on such a good show. To be within 11 points of each other at the end of a 27-week season, it shows how close Div 3 has been and how good the racing has been over the course of the season. So, you know, congratulations to everyone in Div 3 at the end of the day. It's been my pleasure to be RDing. Race directing for everyone and watching these races.
Yeah, and huge thank you to goes out to you as well, CGK, for since round 3, you've been here pretty much. Oh no, round 2. Ever since
round 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Ever since I
helped
had
out.
my own disaster in Div 2 at Nürburgring, I thought, look, the racing's clearly not my forte, but I think I could say a couple of things in the comms box and race direct a little bit. But no, thank you, I appreciate that. And
thanks
of course,
for giving up
yourself.
all of your every second Sunday to come out here and use your beautiful voice in the comms box. It's always great to have the helping hand.
My pleasure, but I think big thanks to you, Lenocious, for doing all the broadcast side of things. I know there's a lot more that goes on in the background with all the admin team and of course and yourself. So you know, I wouldn't be able to be here race directing, and we wouldn't be able to be watching this without you. So big congrats as well, and thank you.
Thanks. And so I think, who is your driver of the day, CGK?
Oh, see, I've been thinking about this. I'm stuck a little bit between essentially a season driver driver of the season, a driver of the day. For me, it's hats off Carbon Boy. He managed that strategy to perfection. He ran into the pits twice with 0 fuel on board, and once across the line with 0 fuel on board. Took his first win of the season after having a fairly unhappy time in a lot of races over the last 27 weeks. That's quite the vindication for him, and I think at the end of the day, he absolutely deserves it. So my driver of the day, Carbon Boy, and I think chat seems to agree.
I am not allowed to be. I almost said no. I'm not allowed to be biased.
That's the word.
But, yeah, I'm not allowed to be biased, but I am going to be biased because it was a spectacular drive from a certain person who has just walked into the comms box, and I think it's a unanimous decision in the chat. I don't think I see any other driver of the day nominations aside from Carbon Boy. So, are you here, Carbon Boy?
I am. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little emotional right now.
Fair
Thought
enough.
I could hear some
because-
crying.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Congratulations, Carbon Boy. Excellent drive, mate. Spot
Thank you.
on. That was precision.
Was it not 2 hours ago when you were saying, "Oh, I've never had a win in Sector 1"?
Well,
Well,
Technically, yes. Technically, no. I did manage to win round 1 of the aborted Nissan Silvia season. So unfortunately, that one got struck from the record books. At least in my eyes, it did, because the season was aborted. So yeah. I wanted to finish this season on a high because CGK summed it up rather accurately. It hasn't been a happy time for a lot of races. And yeah, getting the race win here, that certainly finishes the season out on a high. So there was a can of what have we got here? I believe it is Beers by Bacchus Nitrous Hopside Full Throttle that has been sitting in my fridge since that aborted Sylvia season, and I finally had the pleasure of being able to crack it open in celebration. So
Much deserved. That's excellent to hear.
it tastes so good.
For those who've
Taste
been
of victory.
tuning in to the Obsession podcast, they know that Carbon Boy has been waiting forever to crack open this nitrous hopside, and today's the day. But, I mean, well, you can't drink too much of it because I believe those stuff are 15%, and we do have another race to get underway. So,
Well, I don't have to drive in this one, so
but huge congratulations to Carbon Boy on the race win, and in particular to Bumcrack, who took a huge championship in this Division 3 field. Mega competitive, mighty effort from the plumber to get the job done, to make it, I believe that's 4 race wins for the season, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 4 or 5, but huge congrats goes to Mr. Bumcrack. Magnificent effort, and it was in doubt for a couple of seconds there, but through some heartache and some sheer motorsport luck, Bumcrack was able to drive his race, and everything went his way tonight, and did what he needed to do, took the championship. So, yeah, huge congrats to Bumcrack on a magnificent championship bid. That's for sure.
I can confirm that is 5 race wins over the season for Mr. Bumcrack there, but he was a regular visitor to the P2 spot as well as the P3 spot, so that's what's kept him in this all the way through, and it's also what's made it so close at the end of the race, with Boybagum and Felix having some great results throughout the season as well. Bit of a resurgence from the likes of Budsy, of course, who takes P4 in the championship. I don't know which way round we've got Felix and Boybagum in the championship, though. I get the feeling that Felix has maybe found his way up into P2.
I believe so. Looking at how the points are dished out. We haven't actually had a look at the official results for the race. Let me just go through that real quick. We were too caught up with how everything was playing out there. So this is how they finished that 25-lap race around the Temple of Speed. Carbon Boy takes P1 with the Gokanga fastest lap of a 1:48.518. Felix finishes alongside, and Bumcrack in the final podium place. Along with that comes his championship, which now belongs to him. Boybagum in P4 there, which, Felix, he gets 27 for that. Boybagum gets 23. 1 second. It is 24 to 27. So, yes, Felix will have taken P2 in the championship, stolen it from Boybagum at the Dying Embers. Proa takes P5 after the early incident that he had. Black Project in 6th. After an obscure strategy, but manages to get himself back into somewhat contention. Shizer with the special livery in the Brocchio 5 sim racing car here tonight takes 7th. Levenspiel in 8th. Gur 9th. Sizzling Sausage 10th. Kion the Loose 11th. Daz 12th. The Stranger 13th. And Budsy with the mechanical retirement after that issue with the gearbox. Rounds out
commiseration.
P14.
Yes, commiserations to my teammate from Meister Esports and Budsy. He was on for a really good fight. He would have been up there with Budsy, Boybagum and Mr. Bumcrack in that fight. But yes, unfortunately, a gearbox failure for him. Couldn't get it fixed on the fly either, so commiserations.
So I think we go for a short break. Or is everything ready over in the Div 1 lobby there, Carbon Boy?
I'm not going to lie. I did have some settings wrong, so we should go for a short break so I can kick off some test starts for the guys.
Okay, no worries.
Got to admit, I was a little bit frazzle-brained and had it set up for a Group 4 lobby.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to go well. I mean, Jeesh can have a Group 4 car. I don't know about the rest of them.
Yeah. You can just go and do donuts at Parabolica for 25 laps.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks, CJ. Will you be joining us for the Division 1 race, or are you going to duck out now?
I will have a think about that.
Is there any spots, Carbon Boy?
We do have 10 or 11 in the lobby at the moment, I do believe. I've got 10 on track at the moment.
Okay.
I will. Once that gets a bit more close to the qualifying time, I'll confirm with everyone. But if not, then it's been my pleasure being in the comms box with yourself, Lenocious, and of course yourself too, Carbon Boy, a couple of times over the season. And if I'm not here, then I wish you all the best for Div 1. And congratulations once again to everyone in Division 3. Been a pleasure race directing for you. And thank you all.
Yeah, awesome season from Division 3 and from CGK helping out here in the comms box. So that's everything from us for the moment. We're just going to go for a brief 5-minute intermission, and then we'll be back for Division 1. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys, as we have Division 1 and their 25-lap race around Monza, the Temple of Speed. So, yeah, be sure to keep yourself plugged in to the YouTube channel, and we'll have their 10-minute qualifying coming right up. So, see you guys. Hello, everybody. We are back for Division 1 here at Monza. We have the 10-minute qualifying session coming right up in Division 1. We'll just have a look at their points over the point situation over in Division 1 as well. So, as it stands, Geesh, he's taken the title. He's got a whopping lead. Absolutely thrashed the rest of the competition. GTR is in second place tonight. Captain Muffin third in the championship. Wakey fourth in the championship. Morgan Davey is in fifth position. Woody in sixth. Atom in seventh. Ricky Bobby eighth. Corey Hack ninth. The Blind Man 10th. 11th is Lewis, 12th is Hellraiser, 13th FAF, and 14th is Scar. So the ones that will not be joining us for tonight, we have 11 lined up on the grid, and they are the ones missing is GTR, Lewis, and Hellraiser are the three that will not be with us tonight. But we'll also just have a look at the Teams Championship, which I think has changed since the Div 3 race. But we'll just have a look at it now. Respawn Esports leads the way. So there is a race that has happened since these points. So Respawn Esports, Hooncorp, Kraken, CP, Dadson, Doghouse, ISA, Deeds, Blacklight, Obsession, Brocky, 05 Sim Racing, Black Rose Racing, Lightning Motorsport, and Red Mist is how... Oh, that is the wrong points. I apologize, everybody. That is a terrible mistake, as it has changed a lot. Here we go. Respawn Esports, Hooncorp, Kraken, CP, ISA, Dadson, Doghouse, Deeds, Obsession, Red Mist, Blacklight, Brocky, Lightning, and Black Rose is how the Teams Championship looks at this stage of a series. We've got 3 races to go. Division 1, Division 4, and Division 2 in that order, with Division 1 being tonight, and the last 2 races coming later on in the season. So how are we going, Carbon Boy, in terms of getting this qualifying session underway?
We are good to go for qualifying.
Here we go.
The guys have had a couple of... Well, the first test start was a bit pushy-shovey, to be expected, but they improved out of sight for the second one. So I have complete confidence in them, crossing my fingers here and hoping like heck. I have complete confidence in them that they will be good to go for the race. And I am going to push that big, freshly painted orange button.
You can keep it orange. That's your reward for your race win.
I'm just going to 3D print myself a new button and just replace it.
Yeah.
And qualifier is a go.
Good question for you, chaps. Is Morgan Davey going to be racing with us tonight?
I believe so.
He is indeed.
I don't think he's checked in.
Oh, dear. Oh, we've only got 10. Oh. Okay, 1 second. We'll be back, everybody. Red flag. It's rather unfortunate.
These things do happen.
Ah, Morgan Davey.
He should have been checked in by now.
Okay, we're going to have take number 2 after that mishap. So, I don't think we've actually gone through chat tonight. So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We see Diabolus, Snake Guys, Robert Rice, Debrev, CGK is also in the chat. Francesca Benson, hello from England. They say hello. We have Karen, Womble, Blind Man. We have Chase, Petey Pops, Dadson, and Womble's in chat as well. Tim. And CDXL, thanks for joining us here tonight, guys. We see Robert Ricard. We got... I've just been given some Oreos. We see John, VF, Shizer, Troy, Good Doc, Stickers. Oh, we've got the whole crew in here tonight. Thanks for showing up, everybody. We see Levingspiel chat as well. Thanks for coming, everybody. It's nice to see the good turnout for tonight's race. Yeah, supporting your favourite teams and drivers. As I think we're just restarting the lobby, as I don't think Gran Turismo it's possible to halt the qualifying session, unfortunately.
No, I did have to shut things down and reboot everything up, but I have let the drivers know via the Discord that they need to get into the lobby and tick in, and I'm starting qualifying as soon as I see 11 drivers ticked in.
I'll tell you what, this strawberry cream Oreo is kind of delicious.
You make me very jealous right now, both of you. One of you's got beers and the other's got Oreos, and I've got nothing here except some water. So enough of that, please.
Rightio, I have 11 drivers ticked in, ready to go. I am starting qualifying.
Okay, attempt number 2.
Yep. Let's go.
So what's the
Apologies
prediction
to all
here?
the viewers at home for the delay.
What's the prediction here? Yeah, indeed, we do apologise for that. I'm glad I caught it though. I thought we might miss that for a little bit, so I thought I'll just.
I
mention
am
it.
predicting that we might see something a little bit different from our Division 1 champion tonight.
A little bit different from what?
Well,
Not winning.
well, yes,
Thank you.
yes, that would be different. That would be very different.
He has 5 wins this season, has the potential to make it 6. As we see Shiza saying hello from the Ladies Indoor Hockey Club, the Dapto Ladies Indoor
Oh.
Hockey Club.
Say hello to Cheryl for me, would you, Shiza? Give her my regards.
Cheryl, the club president, doing good things down there.
Doing very good things.
As we see young Wakey out on track, the young 12-year-old, the reigning Division 2 champion from last season for Kraken Esports, leading the guys out on track at the moment. We see Woody in P2 running the brilliant Rocky 5 sim racing livery, once again supporting that awesome cause with men's mental health. Means a lot to the people here at Sector 1, and we'd love to see it out on track. We see Atom, third man out on track in the Respawn Esports car. And he is, I think he's, where is he in the standings? 1 second, everybody. I believe he is, yeah, 5th in the standings there is Atom. And just behind him on track, we have Captain Muffin in the Golden Macca. FAF for Black Rose Racing. Oh, Jeesh has disconnected from the lobby, so he didn't set a lap, did he? No, these guys are only just finishing their first lap now. Oh dear, so, I mean, well, he's already won the championship, so it's not that big of a deal, but a disconnect in qualifying would mean that you have
when
to start
I said
back.
I expected to see something different from him, that's not exactly what I had in mind.
Yeah, disconnecting is not the first thought.
It is an interesting strategy though, and we'll see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, that was definitely a part of the strategy, disconnecting. As we see FAF, the Black Rose driver, 5th man out on track at the moment. We see Ricky Bobby, unfortunately, picking up a 1-second penalty. The Obsession driver, 6th on track. A little further back, we see Morgan Davey in line with everything else that he's had on his car this season. He's running a different Deeds can, which I know Brent is in chat. Surely he can tell us what can this is on Morgan Davies' car. It looks like some sort of green, gold, and silver can, I believe. As just behind him we have Corey Hack for Red Mist Racing in his red Supra. And
just from memory, that Deeds livery would be, now Karen will correct me here if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain that is based off the Deeds Double Time beverage.
Double Time, okay.
Double Time. It is a hazy IPA from memory. And
Okay.
Karen, this is where you jump in the YouTube chat and yell at me if I'm wrong.
Thanks for that, Carbon Boy, using your memory. Well, As Wakey sets the first lap time, Atom goes quicker. We see Muffin into P3. FAF can only go 5th fastest. We see more of them trickle across the start-finish line. Morgan into 6th. Corey Hack takes 6th position. John can only muster... Oh, and only muster. He does go into 4th position. And we see Blind Man goes P10. First round of laps done, I should say. And Adam holding pole position, and he is going purple, showing no signs of slowing down. The Respawn Esports team owner. He already has 1 race win this season, along with no, it wasn't a pole position at Watkins Glen. The pole position at Watkins Glen went to Ricky Bobby, but Adam taking the race win there in the absence of GTR and Jeesh.
Yeah, my money tonight is on Atom. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he's going to pull a sort of rabbit out of his hat tonight and put on a really good show for us.
Of course, one of the elites, World Series driver, Atom. Some people tell me he's quick, but I don't know. I'm not too sure on this guy.
I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for young Wakey for a definite podium tonight.
Somebody's spinning around, Muffin! The exit of Ascari, he's spun at 360 degrees, and now he's heading down towards Parabolica.
Because young Wacky he's sitting P2 at the moment. He just went through the 2nd sector, purple. So I feel he's going to knock off Adam's time here and possibly get into the 40. Ooh, okay. Drivers proving me once again that I am always wrong.
Wakey holds on to his 2nd position there with a 47.4, which Adam almost into the 36s. 36s, that's a bit rapid. 46s.
Has he got his GT2 Group 2 car out today? Maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, that'll be quite
Now, Karen has just chimed into the chat that he believes that Morgan's livery is based on the Kolsch called Frothe. Well, I'm going to stick with it's based on the double time, Karen, so nah.
See, when I see Brent saying that he's going to check real quick, I can just imagine him scrolling through the Deeds website and going, oh, that's the one.
I just imagine him looking in his fridge, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, isn't Brent's fridge the Deeds warehouse or something like that? I don't know.
Although he may have a point, it is a slightly darker green. But anyway, we should probably get back to the racing action, as our teammate there, Ricky Bobby, has just slotted himself into P3 very nicely.
Yeah, he's been very good at qualifying this season, Ricky Bobby. He's had 2 pole positions, the first of which coming at the season opener at the Nürburgring, and what a qualifying session that was. Possibly the best of the season, if I'm going to be completely honest. That was topsy-turvy. Little bit of...
Atom is continuing his tyre-saving strategy from Suzuka after his multiple running wide at 130R. He's gone very wide at Ascari and has done very well to not pick up a penalty. But he's gotten very sideways at the Parabolica.
Into the pits.
Yeah, he's cooked that lap, so he's decided, I'm coming in for tyres.
Oh, Wakey makes that gap down to under a 10th.
Yeah, Atom needed that lap. He was up 0.3 of a second in Sector 2, and he needed that lap, because if Wakey's going to put in those kinds of lap times, he is within spitting distance now of Atom.
Yeah, absolutely. As Morgan Davey improves himself to 8th position there. As as I was saying about Ricky Bobby, that first pole position coming at Nürburgring, and then the second of the 2 coming at Watkins Glen. So aside from Jeesh himself, he has the 2nd most pole positions this season.
Indeed. FAF is up on his personal best at the moment, has a little bit of a tough time through De La Roggia, but is looking strong in that GTR. Is there a car out there that we should be looking at outside of the Supra? Is it the McLaren that's going to be best out of all of these, or is it just a Supra party today?
I think the McLaren is definitely a dark horse in this race. It may not... Some people might say it doesn't have the straight line speed of a Supra, but it's certainly not slow. And it does seem to be able to get the power down out of a corner bit better, which seems to offset its maybe slight deficiency in top-end speed compared to the Supra.
Yeah, the McLaren used to be really off the pace. I mean, the Group 4 car for McLaren is not great either, but it's become better in recent months.
It's certainly a weapon in the right hands, and Boy Bagum in Division 3 has proven that this season. He's surprised me on multiple occasions. Oh,
As
I thought Muffin was going into the pits there, but he's just doing his I'm
An
going to make
efficient
this
line.
track as short as possible line.
As we see Good Doc in the chat as well with an absolute belter. He says, Brent's fridge is full of baby formula now, not beer. It's all been replaced. Which, for those of you that don't know, Brent is giving birth in a week's time. Not his wife. Brent himself is giving birth.
Yes, those medical marvels these days.
Yeah, FAF up to P3 on that last lap. Great lap from the Black Rose driver in the Nissan GTR.
Yes,
Wakey!
certainly
Oh!
ringing.
Wakey! He's gone quicker!
Oh, and he's going to be out this lap because
Yeah,
he's
so-
got himself a half-second
Oh!
penalty, so
It's all up to Atom
really,
now. Oh.
really needs to have an absolute cracker. He might be able to tag onto the back of... who is this in front of him? I believe it's Corey Hack.
Yeah.
It's Corey Hack in front of him. If Atom could just maybe get into his slipstream, he might just be able to make up that. Well, he needs.
Let's see what the split is.
700.
Oh, he's
700s.
down. Oh, this is massive. Wakey could get his first pole position in Sector 1. Let's see what happens. As Atom, through the Ascari chicane, runs a little bit wide using all of the track limits. That's a little bit of an error from Atom there, so he's going to be down even further. As somebody crossing the start-finish line, I believe they will embark on their final lap down the main straight. If one of you could tell me who that is, and Parabolica. Atom gets it turned in. Oh, that's another error. This might not be enough for Atom to get the pole position. Let's see what the split is. 5, 6, 7. No, he's going to be down. Wakey, I think he's taken pole position.
Yeah,
Let's see. We have a
FAF.
couple of people out on track. FAF. Oh no,
FAF
he's
across the
finished.
line, and Ricky Bobby both across the line just before Atom. Yep, it was very
As
close to
John,
Atom.
it looks like he could get close here. Let's see.
Might be able to improve.
Oh, goes to fifth
He does
place.
improve. Knocks
there's
off
one more
Captain
driver on
Muffin
track.
by 6 thousandths of a second.
Oh.
Muffin will be shaking his head in dismay at that one.
As Blind Man calls it one lap early, peels at the pits, and that's the session. So Wakegate coming into full effect as he's taken pole position here at the Temple of Speed. The young child has taken pole position.
Well, yes, well done, young Wakey. That was a solid effort.
And they're both of
As
them are
I do
8/10
believe
clear.
Geesh has rejoined the lobby.
Oh, as Snake Eyes, that's a good shout actually. No beers for young Wakey if he wins. I think old Wakey, yeah, he might have to get involved if somebody's sliding a couple of beers towards young Wakey here.
Yeah, look,
Wait,
I'm
well-
not going to support that.
We are in Italy, and I'm pretty sure that the legal drinking age in Italy is 9 years old with parental supervision. Don't hate the player, hate the game, okay? Like, I think it is technically legal, but As we have a look at the qualifying results here in Division 1, young Wakey takes a historic first pole position in the top flight of Sector 1, a 1 minute 47 flat for the young Kraken Esports driver. HC Adam will join him alongside on the front row, just 600 separating those two on the front row of the grid. FAF with his highest qualifying position of the season with a 147.8. 8 tenths, a whopping 8 tenths off the front two. So if that's anything to point out. Ricky Bobby joins FAF on the second row of the grid. John able to improve his time in the dying stages of that session. slots himself into 5th. Captain Muffin in 6th. Joins John on the 2nd row of the grid. Corey Hack 7th. Woody in 8th. Morgan Davey 9th. Blind Man 10th. And Geesh, with no time after the disconnect, will line up last on the grid. So wow, I mean,
Yes, I am just going to have to redo the lobby settings to allow a manual grid setting. So if you could bear with me for a minute or so while I get that sorted out, so Jish can partake in the racing tonight, that would be fantastic.
I am positive that Lenocious and me can ramble on while you sort that out, Carbon Boy.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a mighty lap there from Wakey. Did very, very well to get himself up to the top spot, but both him and Atom 8/10 clear of FAF and the GTR, and then 2 Supras behind in Ricky Bobby and John 27 TCT. So well done to FAF for slotting that GTR in, but still 8/10 off. I mean, that's quite the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as it stands, young Wakey, he's P4 in the standings, and he hasn't got. Well, we'll just pop the points back up on screen because we have the time to do so. And he's sitting on 248 points as opposed to Captain Muffin on 262. So he would have closed up that gap to make it 12 points between the two of them. As that's how pole positions work. You get an extra 2 points here in Sector 1. So, yeah, I mean, that fight isn't done yet. Young Wakey could even claim 3rd in the championship, which would be mega for his first season in the top split.
Definitely would be. And without TX3 GTR on the grid today, who's on 286 points, I believe, that could put the likes of Muffin and Morgan Davey back into contention for, Morgan maybe for a P3, potentially. Captain Muffin would have to do very, very well in this race.
I think it's over for young Wakey. I don't think he can get P2. That gap is at 35 or 37. So
yeah. But interestingly, he's on the same points as Atom though, isn't he? 248. So the battle is between Atom and Wakey today to see who can stay ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. As I just realized, this graphic is slightly outdated as there have been a number of changes. Atom has moved up to 5th. Oh, yeah, there's actually been a lot of chopping and changing. Oh, yes, so actually, my graphic says that young Wakey is in 4th, but he's actually all the way down in 6th. In 6th on 248 points, as he's equal on points with Atom, and Morgan Davey is in 4th place with 254 points, and the two in front on the correct points in the graphic. So we apologize for that. I believe the graphic was made before.
I have the grid set. Shall we get this show on the road?
I think we should. That sounds like an awesome idea for 25 laps here at Monza.
Yeah, and FAF in the chat is actually saying he's really surprised that GTR even cracked into the 47s. So I guess an extra congratulations to FAF for a stonking lap there in the GTR.
Yeah, he did a good job to put himself into P3 on the grid. But right now, all the talk is about this Division 1 field. 25 laps here in at the Temple of Speed, the heart of Italy, of Italian motorsport, I should say, as the light sequence begins. 4 lights, 5 lights, revs rising. They are out and racing here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, Division 1, for the first time since Season 4, I believe, as these guys barrel down towards Turn 1. And it looks like these guys keeping it mostly clean. Oh, can they keep it settled? Oh, 3 wide by 3 by 3 by 3 is Corey Hack all over the show. No, it's all gone wrong. Oh, no. As they've all spilled the beans into Turn 1. And Woody has been turned the wrong way round, unfortunately. But young Wakey holds the lead into the first turn. FAF gets the better of Atom as they barrel down towards the Della Roggia chicane. And everything seems to have sorted itself out now, as we see in the background a couple of moves being made. The Deeds car trying to get them. Oh, that's Blind Man's gone. Oh, huge contact.
Gotten on the power a bit hard, a bit early at the second chicane. Please forgive me for not remembering the corner names.
Della Roggia. we'll correct you. It's all right. We forgive you. I think it was that Corey Hack who took the escape route on turn 1 and caused a bit of contact there. I think it might have been.
I'm not too sure. I think it was just a little bit of lag, but I think that lag may have been the source of that drama. They were 3 by 3, half of the field, 6 cars just sitting into turn 1 all at the same time, and that was never going to end well. But I think the lag just sort of wreaked a little bit of havoc there, unfortunately, as these guys...
Ricky Bobby and Johnny side by side into Parabolica, which has been renamed something else in 2021.
I don't think it's Alberto, it's something like that.
I'll tell you what, I'll look it up.
It was named after an Italian F1 champion, someone Alberto in 2021, but I am a grumpy old man and I refuse to accept change, so I'm sticking with Parabolica.
We had literally been discussing this in Div 3 as well. Yeah, Parabolica is here to stay.
It looks like a parabola, so it must be Parabolica.
If the F1 commentators don't call it its new name, then I'm not calling it its new name.
As these guys head through the Curva Grande and down towards Della Roggia chicane, and Wakey has gapped the field by 2.2 seconds.
Atom's had a moment somewhere. He's down to P5.
That's
he
true.
has. I've been keeping an eye on Atom. Yeah, he's been getting gobbled up left, right, and centre. I do wonder if there's maybe a difference in strategy going on here. He might be saving fuel or tyres early on, something like that. He hasn't made a mistake from what I can see so far.
Oh, here you go on the tyres now that you mention it. Atom is the first driver on the racing medium compound. The next driver is Captain Muffin, who is having a move made on him by Gish, who, despite starting last, is already up to P8 on lap 2. So
that's only 3 positions, though. We've seen 2 people get spun around, so yeah, only really 1 move, which, we did get to talk about it in qualifying, but Gish is running a special livery to commemorate to his championship. Bits of yellow on that Respawn Esports car as he comes into the Albert corner. No, I'm not going to call it that. It's the Parabolica.
Morgan Davey around the outside of Atom at Parabolica. Wow.
Beautiful move.
As Adam is arguing the question as they barrel down towards Redifio.
The Super is definitely going to eat up the BRZ down the straight, but that was a fantastic move.
Oh, as Morgan Davey chucks it down the inside, can he get it pulled up? Yes, he can. A little bit of contact rubbing between the two. Tries to hold around the outside, but Adam, Morgan gets checked up, and now he's under pressure from Captain Muffin there.
Yeah, chucking it down the inside of T1 always sounds like a great idea, but you've got to remember, you will get most likely hung out to dry at T2. So sometimes it's better to just hang off and just be there to apply pressure to the guy in front of you.
I can now confirm to you all. Oh, Adam's gone!
Adam has binned it.
Oh, and he's got damage as well. He's gone right into the barrier there, dipped the toe on the outside of the exit of Della Roggia, and got on power, and that was all she wrote. Fortunately for Atom, now down in P10, nearly last in this race.
Didn't quite catch that one on the replay. We saw him going, but then the shot, he sort of rolled backwards into the shot, unfortunately, but down into P10 there for Atom. Heartbreak after that P2 start.
I'm just on Gish watch here. He's up to P5 after outbreaking Morgan Davey into Ascari. Just keeping a tabs on his last to first challenge. So far, going relatively well.
And Ricky Bobby as well, up into P2. Gets ahead of FAF there.
Yes, Obsession. Get in there.
2 Obsession wins on a Sunday. Why did I say Monday?
It's getting close for me. I will just say, just a quick history lesson here for everyone. So, Parabolica, now known formerly as Alboreto Curve, used to be called Curvetta. So originally in 1927 they called it Curvetta. Then they actually changed the name because of the nature of the corner to Parabolica when it was rebuilt in 1955. And now in 2021 it's now the Alboreta Curve. So
The Albert curve.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Michele Alboreto, of course, an Italian racing driver, runner-up to Alan Prost in the 1985 Formula One World Championship.
As we see Morgan Davey chucking it down the inside of Captain Muffin. Can he get it pulled up or over that curve? That might come with an invoice, but Muffin gets the move done. But Morgan tries the switchback, and so's Corey Hack getting his nose stuck up in there as well. As Muffin's getting shuffled out wide. Remember, he's on the medium. Oh, huge contact! And that's Jish and Corey Hack and Muffin gone into the gravel trap for Muffin. Oh, that's disaster on lap 4 of this race.
Oh dear, that has not gone well. I could hear the steward's pens clicking from here.
As we have a look on the Next Level Racing action replay at that one. And I think Corey Hack, he didn't have anywhere to go, but Muffin tried to sweep across, and then they just came together, and then hit that inside wall. Corey Hack came across, and yeah, Muffin, he's ended up in that gravel trap there, unfortunately. Back down into P10 for the CP car.
Yes, I think Muffin was following behind Atom for a bit before both of them have had an issue, and yeah, there we go. They both ended up down the bottom of the field, unfortunately. Diswood making a move now on Corey Hack, or Corey Hack going to make a move on Diswood in that new silver BRZ livery.
And Woody trying his hardest to keep in front, using all the power that BRZ has. Brilliant under brakes there, Woody, and manages to keep that position into 7th position for Woody.
Yeah, I can tell there's a little bit of lag going on at the moment. I don't know if it's just Corey Hack, a few others around. We've got a few comments in the chat saying lag. Yes, there's a little bit of lag, unfortunately, in the lobby. GT7 things, and they're going at it again. Corey Hack's out the inside of the De La Rocha chicane, close to the door. There's no switchback available for Diswood. Gets on the power early and nearly loses it, and gets a track cut penalty for his troubles as well.
That is not great for Woody. Remember, he got turned around at lap 1, which, speaking of, let's have a look back at that first turn chaos that we saw into the braking zone. And yeah, they tried to go 3x3, and then Corey Hack over the sausage curb and a little bit of contact with Woody, and he was facing the wrong way at the first turn, which is never what you want to see. But that's the nature of this Monza start. That turn 1, the Redifia chicane, it's just so inviting to cause incidents. And I think
well, you're right. There's so many more ways that it can go wrong than it can go right, sadly, at that kind of corner. It's now infamous in modern motorsports, real motorsports, as well as sim racing, as a be cautious zone. By the way, Jish has just gone fastest and is closing down Johnny at the moment.
I mean, P5 for Jish at the moment, so he's doing pretty well. But if you think about it, all the people behind, except for Morgan, have all been wrapped up in incidents. So he hasn't made that many places on track. It's more just those who have been banging wheels and coming together in incidents. And in the case of Atom and what's his name, Blind Man, going out by themselves on the exit of the De La Rocha chicane. It's so it's so easy to lose traction here with the gravel trap on the outside and not much grip on that.
Here we go. Sneaky pit stop from Captain Muffin at the end of lap 5, ditching those racing medium tyres that he was on. So it does look like he's going for the same strategy that I ran, which was the 5-10-10, starting with the racing mediums. Which
has Blind Man pit as well, or is he just?
He's had a bit of a shocker. He had a 2-minute 3 lap 4. Things have not gone well.
Yeah, definitely not the day of the Datsun driver there, but he continues on. It's nice to see in this Division 1 field. But we have a look back up front.
Ricky Bobby has made his way in front of FAF to the tune of 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, but he's got a half-second penalty now.
He is carrying that penalty, but I dare say he will be able to hold his P2 at the moment. And it's probably about time we get stuck into an AP APR tyre and fuel update, is it not?
That sounds like a good idea, Carbon Boy.
Rightio, so up in P1 we have Young Wakey leading the field to the tune of 3 seconds. He is looking after those front tyres quite well. Tyre wear in this race is not really so much of an issue because you will run out of fuel long before you run out of rubber. So he's got about 15% wear on that front left and about 35% on that left rear. And he's down to about 40% fuel in the tank. Ricky Bobby is looking fairly identical for tyre wear and possibly has a little bit of a couple of percent fuel save over him. So that might help him gain a little bit of time in the pits. But he does have FAF just less than a second behind him now, who's a little bit better on the rear tyre wear and is identical for fuel on Ricky Bobby. Jinx is also identical for fuel and tyre wear to the guys in front of him, which is quite commendable considering that he has made up 7 positions so far in this race. Back in P5 we have John, who is actually doing really, really well for fuel. He's on about 43% with fairly identical tyre wear to the guys in front of him. Morgan Davies is flogging the absolute beans out of that BRZ. He's down to about 35% fuel, but the front tyre wear is looking pretty good on about 10%, where the rear tyre wear is about 25%. Diswood back up in P7 after his early calamity, I don't know another word for it, at T1. He's doing relatively well for fuel on about 35%. And has fairly even front and rear tyre wear with about 30% on the left-hand side. Corey Hack is fairly just about 30% fuel in the tank, has about 15% wear on that front left, maybe 35-40% on that left-hand rear, so really leaning on that rear tyre of his. Atom, who has pitted to get off those racing medium tyres that he started the race on, he has pitted on the previous lap, so he's down to about 80% fuel now and absolutely minimal wear on his fresh set of racing softs. Captain Muffin, who has also pitted, is fairly identical on about 80% fuel and next to no wear on his racing soft tyres. And Blind Man, who is not having the greatest of rounds this round. Didn't phrase that correctly, did I? He's on about 55% fuel with about 15% wear on the front left and about 30% on the left-hand rear.
Thank you
And
for that, Carbon Boy.
Yes, I do want to redirect our attention to P3 and P4. Jeesh and Ricky Bobby having a mega battle at the moment.
Oh, as FAF has got back past Ricky Bobby, and now it's going to be Jeesh who goes past Ricky Bobby. Falling backwards a little bit, the Obsession driver. Manages to keep the nose in. Oh, not quite. Jeesh, up into P3.
Yeah, he's got it done quite nicely there. Yeah, so FAF came flying past Ricky Bobby, who I think had a bad exit a lap ago at Scari. Somehow he was just mega slow on the track. Might be trying to fuel save. He's now not fuel saving as far as I can tell because he's trying to get that position back from Jeesh on the outside turn 1. Oh, Jeesh so good on the brakes though.
So deep, these guys.
Deep as you can go, but FAF is not out of the woods now. Now he's got a fast Jeesh, going to be rapidly chasing him down, but this has been going rather well for FAF. He's up ahead of most of the Supras in the grid in a GTR, and I think he'll be pretty happy with that. He's re-entered the 47s and race pace as well on those racing soft tyres. So I'd say this is going quite well for him at the moment. Ooh. Might be handing out some commentators' curses here, though, so I might quieten down while this battle evolves.
As we just see in chat, Carbon Boy, I think, Good Doc is asking for some tips on how to be a race winner at Monza.
The advice being handed out by you there, Carbon Boy, very good. Drive fast, don't crash. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've got. Hope like hell is the other thing, but that's fairly out of your own control, I imagine.
Yes, yeah. Any general advice I would give is if you can try to avoid action at turn 1 in Della Roccia, you should be okay. But there's not much that you can do if you are a passenger in that.
Oh, Ricky Bobby! Oh, don't
Brown.
scare me like that.
Go Brown.
A
Oh,
heart
that's a
in
car.
mouth
That is a car control. That is definitely a car control
That
moment.
one might be
Hold on
one-
to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we
Might
have a
be one for the
replay on that,
awards.
please, Lenosis? Because that was wow.
Coming right up, the Next Level Racing action replay. As what's happened here? The rear end stepped down on him on those worn soft tires, and then overcorrection, and then overcorrection again. A massive wiggle, and he holds onto it. There is no grip out there. It's like ice out there. Past the racing line, and so dusty. You saw the dust being kicked up by his car, and yeah, I mean, great save from Ricky Bobby. That one might be put forward for the Sector 1 awards, for the small awards potentially, the car control award, I should say.
I can
But
see
that has opened the door for John behind him, who is well within slipstream at 4/10. He could be looking to make a move in the next couple of corners.
Yeah, and Johnny is on better tyres at the moment as well, so he's got the advantage here. I can see the team running a new pair of underpants down to the pit lane now for when Ricky Bobby comes in, but hats
Well,
off.
here we
Well
go.
done.
We're going side by side into the braking zone for Ascari. John might have him.
This is a tough corner to make a move on, especially from the outside, but Ricky Bobby wisely slots in behind John there, so yeah,
He does have a fuel advantage over John. Oh, sorry. John has a fuel advantage over him. Okay, I will retract my previous statement.
Yeah.
It's a
Carry on, gentlemen, as you were.
As Ricky Bobby tries around the outside at Ascari, I mean, not Ascari, Parabolica.
Alberto.
Alberto.
We don't know corner names here.
And Ricky Bobby's into the pits, following suit with Young Wakey, FAF, and Geesh.
Yeah, Johnny's got
John
another lap
stays out.
in himself there. Yeah, I was going to say with the entry to Ascari, the inside line is so difficult because even if you do outbrake your opponent, you're either going to force them wide, pick yourself up a penalty or a visit to the steward's office, or you're going to end up on those nasty curves on the entry, much deeper than you'd like to, and that'll totally compromise you on the exit.
I'll tell you guys one thing. To be maintaining this kind of pace and get 11 laps out of the fuel tank of that Supra, John's doing remarkably well here.
Absolutely.
He is short shifting a little bit this lap, probably just to make sure he gets around, but he's doing incredibly well.
Yeah, he's just been hovering consistently in the 48s. I mean, his lap times are pretty much well within 0.8 of a second throughout his entire first stint. His personal best, 48.033. So he has been incredibly consistent. Knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a plan in mind, does Johnny?
So, what tyres has everybody come out of the pits on?
Alrighty, so Young Wakey has decided to take his medicine now. He has come out on the racing medium tyres, as
Racing
has
medicine
Geesh.
tyres, yeah.
As has Ricky Bobby. FAF has gone for another set of the racing softs, and he's coming under fire right now from Atom, who is half a second behind him in the slipstream and looking like a man on a mission. Because his last few laps has been a 47.3, a 47.4, and a 47.8.
I do notice that...
Not quite... Sorry, carry on.
No, it's quite all right. I mean, I was just going to make a comment about FAF, who's taken a full tank of fuel. The others have taken half a tank, and that's why FAF has dropped back in range of Atom, I think.
Yeah, but he is also on the softs, as opposed to
Yes.
being on the mediums. But it looks like Adam's going to stick a move on him here as well into Albert as they round the corner and down onto the back straight here.
It doesn't sound right, does it? It doesn't sound right.
John, he's going to come out in P3. So he's done a massive overcut here, going out on that extra lap. And he's on the medium, so he has short fueled, I would assume. Is he on 50% fuel, or just about, or
just under? Yes. The logic behind that is if you're going to go on the slower tyre, all the fuel you're going to put in and all the weight you're going to add to the car is just going to be enough for the laps you're planning on running on the medium tyre. So that lighter fuel load will slightly offset that slightly slower lap time you'll be setting on the medium tyre. So that's actually fairly smart from these guys, like smarter than me. So
Well, you just want to race on
I'm
perfect
impressed.
strategy, so...
I'm impressed. There was a fair chunk of luck involved in that. I won't deny that.
Ricky Bobby!
No, take the compliment, Carbon Boy, you did well. But you do make a very good point there that if you're on the racing medium tyre, you've got less grip. The lighter the car is, the more that they'll act like their softer compound. So you want to be running as low amount of fuel as possible when you're on those medium tyres, even though you will have to refuel again. But if you can nail the amount of time that you're going to spend out on track, the amount of fuel, then you're spot on.
So, just just an update from the front of the pack. Jeesh had closed that gap to Young Wakey to 2.5 seconds, but he just had to serve a 1 second penalty. So that gap back out to just under 5 seconds.
Yep. That has cost Jeesh a bit, hasn't it? Crikey. I also do very quickly before... Sorry. I want to address something in chat as well. Muffin and Woody will be fatigued from the Track Stars today as well. I don't know if everyone knows this, but the Track Stars have been running a Bathurst 1000 today. So those two have been racing all day long already.
Yes, they have. They did have a co-driver in that 1,000 kilometre race, but that still equates to near as enough. No, it makes no difference. About 3 hours of driving. And as we all know, Bathurst is not exactly a track that is going to leave you feeling all fresh and sprightly after spending 3 hours driving around it. So,
facts.
Full credit to them for making the grid tonight.
I mean, after driving Bathurst for that long, I mean, it must be a bit of a bit better to be driving a track that's a little bit more simple, doesn't require as much concentration.
There's an element of relief there, isn't there? Yeah.
If I had to drive any track for 3 hours before racing here tonight, let alone Bathurst, I'd just throw my controller away, switch the console off, and just go to bed.
I'll have to invite you to one of my 12-hour charity drives then next time, Carbon Boy. I'm sure you'd have a great time.
Yep, just don't book me in for anything else that day or the next day.
Okay, cool.
As Ricky Bobby, he's closed up to the back of Atom here. Wait. Yes.
Yes, that is Adam.
But he's closed up to Atom, I think. Or is Atom past him?
I think Atom has gone past him because the lap time would suggest that. I'm sure Atom was running in 5th behind Ricky Bobby.
Well, to be fair, Atom is on the racing soft tyre and Ricky Bobby's on the medium, so I do believe it's Atom that has gotten past Ricky Bobby. But having the slipstream here will help Ricky Bobby because he's on the slower tyre, but he's got a slightly heavier fuel load, but he does have Atom's slipstream, and to have the slipstream of one of the quicker guys in Div 1, certainly wouldn't say no to that.
No, certainly not. But this is working out well for Atom at the moment because he's got enough fuel, just enough fuel, maybe, to be pitting maybe one lap offset from when these medium runners, Wakey, Jeesh, Johnny, will be coming into the pit. So he'll be able to run the same, should be what is the same, stint towards the end, bar one lap and maybe a little bit more fuel than these extra guys. So he's done well to get himself back into this.
As just looking towards the back of the pack, we see a massive battle pack forming between Muffin, Morgan, Corey Hack, and Woody for the scraps here, excluding Blind Man. But that battle very, very tight between these four. Could be a bit of action to look forward to in the tail half of this race.
Certainly, Diswood is right on the back of Corey Hack, and he's nearly lost it as well. Diswood and Lesmos too. I think he's might be being put off just a little bit by the car that Corey Hack's driving, the colour maybe, but also the lag that's taking him a metre to the left and the right on occasion.
As we have a look back up to the situation up top, Jeesh, 2.3 seconds astray of the young Kraken Esports driver. Still hunting for his first win as John's in. He's off the medium tyre, and it will be a soft stint to bring it home. You would assume, hopefully. It should be his last scheduled pit stop. And I think the rest of these guys, they have to take their medium stint. So, no, Atom does not need to take his
medicine
medium
stint.
Yeah,
I think we have to officially call it the medicine stint. Atom has already run the mediums, so he can go soft again.
And Wakey and Geesh are also on their medium stint now, are they not?
Correct, they are.
Yes, they are.
So, they should be due for a scheduled pit stop.
Well, this
I
is what
would
I was
say
saying
at the end of this lap.
Yep, could be. And this is what I was saying about Atom. Like he's got another stint to do, which is going to be he's lower on fuel than Geesh and Wakey, as far as I'm aware, but not by a massive amount. Probably about 3/4 of a lap less on fuel, and he's got another soft stint to do. So he'll be on equal tyres with these chaps at the end of this race.
He's 5.5 seconds off the back of his teammate at the moment, but I think once the pit stops are run and done and everything sorts themselves out, he might just be. I think he might, once the pit stops are done, I think he might be more around the 3-second mark.
Could be. I think he might have to put a bit more fuel on board than those ahead of him, though. But he is running fast, though. He's too consistent in the low 47s. He's set his personal
Wakey's
best.
in the pits.
He is indeed.
Geesh is in the pits, and I dare
Adam
say
should be
Adam's
too.
going to follow
Atom will
them.
be. Yeah,
Because he's very much on the fuel light.
certainly is.
Ricky Bobby goes around again. He's
That's an
he's
interesting
actually
call.
sitting on about 15% fuel.
Is
So
he
maybe
running
he's going
mediums?
for the
No.
overcut.
Yes.
He's on the medium compound, yes. He might just be trying his luck with the overcut. And to be honest, at this stage, what have you got to lose?
Well, yeah.
Give it a crack. I mean, he's got FAF right on his slipstream at 8/10 behind him, who has a relatively fresh set of softs and just under half a tank of fuel.
FAF has to come onto his medicine tyres, though, doesn't he? I don't think he's done a
I
medicine
believe
stint.
he does.
Yeah, so that he's going to be a bit slower towards the end. He needs to get past Ricky Bobby then, doesn't he?
Yep, he's down to 6/10 now, so he's definitely taking time out.
So what's the situation with Wakey and Geesh? Because Wakey has gapped Geesh by about 2 seconds. Is this a fuel discrepancy between these two?
Wakey has completely filled the tank, as has Geesh.
Okay, I thought
Get
they
the-
both came in on 6.
They came on. It did look like that, didn't it? 6, yeah. So there shouldn't really be a discrepancy unless turn 1. I mean, there's a few corners now, but maybe turn 1, Wakey just had a better first exit on the colder tyres. That's probably the only explanation. Potentially
Geesh just taking a little bit longer to warm up his tyres, where Wakey knows he needs to put the hammer down right now and get as much of a gap from the champion behind.
Interestingly, though, so Geesh, the gap to Geesh and Atom was 5.5 seconds. HC Atom's now got Johnny in there between them. Atom's also filled up to full fuel as well, but the gap between Geesh and John to see is 2.8 seconds, and then 1.5 seconds back to Atom. So Atom has gained about 1.5 seconds on Geesh overall in that pit stop.
Yeah, so maybe
Ricky Bobby into the pits. He's getting rid of his medicine tyres. He's taking on fuel now as Morgan Davies goes past down the main straight.
and
as
he will be on the
does
quicker
Woody.
tyres quite crucially.
Yeah.
Should put in about 90% fuel. No, he fills up 94.
94.
That's a lot of fuel.
That is going to cost him a couple of positions.
As it does, maybe? Yeah, just about. Yeah, I think.
But he will have
there
more
will
fuel than the others
there will
at the
be
end.
FAF, Morgan, and Woody, who will have to make another pit stop before the end of the race. So that will bring Ricky Bobby back up into, I would say, P5.
Yeah, which
Yes.
is where he was pre-stop. But that being said, he's done the overcut, and he will have the fresher tyres for the remaining of the stint.
Atom is hunting down Johnny GC at a rapid rate now. He's in under a second now, under 8/10 of a second. It's just getting closer and closer. I think Johnny GC might have underfueled just a little bit here, everyone.
This is for the podium.
It is. Yeah, I think he's underfueled.
I'm looking at the fuel load on John's car, and 3/4 of a tank with 9 laps to go. That's in a Supra. That's ambitious.
He needs to cut 2 laps of fuel saving out of that, doesn't he?
Oh, at least 1.2, 1.3 at minimum.
Yeah, I mean, look at the run that Atom's getting as well now.
Just from my own driving at full noise, the Supra will drain a tank in 10 laps.
Wow.
Into Albert now.
I did do some testing, which with some fuel map and short shifting, and got 13 laps out of a tank of fuel in the Supra. Unfortunately, I was about
here's the move.
2 seconds a lap slower.
Atom down the inside
here goes Atom.
of John 27 TCT, and he gets it done well and truly before the corner. I think John trying to just damage limitation there a little bit. Maybe a slight lift off, or just using the fuel modes to let Atom pass without too much bother.
Yeah, poor Johnny though. He's going to have fast Ricky Bobby, who's only 2.8 seconds behind him, coming up on him rapidly as well. So this fuel saving in the shorter stop might have got him some track position, but if he's going to be running slow for 9 laps, yeah, that probably wasn't worth it.
So just as well, Jeesh is not gaining on Young Wakey, or negligibly. That gap has been about 3/10 to what it was prior to the immediately after the stop, I should say.
Yep, that's right. And there is well, actually, it's just come down a little bit on the exit of Lesmo 2 there, but yeah, Wakey didn't get maybe the best exit there, but they're basically identical on fuel and tires at the moment. So yeah, Jeesh is going to have to find some pace out there.
And sooner or later, I think Woody Morgan FAF should be coming in the next 2 laps. So if Wakey is able to get inside of slipstream range of Woody, that'll give him an extra toe, which could help his chances of escaping from the jaws of G-Ship.
That's exactly right. Wakey is approaching some traffic that is provisionally ahead of him on the track, but will be behind him when they pit. This would ahead at the moment, 25% of his fuel left at the moment, I think, and he'll have to get through that and try not to lose so much time. Another 3/10 has been cut out though. Jisha's gone fastest lap now, 47.028. That is that's a qualifying lap. I've never seen it before.
Yep.
Oh, that is very, very rapid. But to put things into perspective, I have been in a practice lobby earlier today with Jish, who ran a 46.4 second lap.
Goodness.
Yeah, just to induce a little bit of nausea amongst you all. Yeah, I got nothing.
No, that's incredible pace. You know, being in the
actually,
46s
sorry,
at all.
sorry, it was a 46.6, but
okay,
still.
okay, it's still nausea-inducing. I'm not throwing up on the floor anymore though, although just a little bit.
So Young Wakey going to have the slipstream from Woody now. That gap to just 6/10 between these two as they exit the second Lesmo on the run down towards the Ascari chicane under the oval and into the chicane now.
Yeah, this is becoming a real problem for Wakey. He's going to need to navigate past Diswood very quickly. I hope that Diswood is in the pit in the next couple of laps, which he looks like he will be, but oh no, he's going to have the run on him here. Supra versus BRZ, not a big contest there, and through he goes.
And now, I think crucially for Young Wakey is that Woody, if he doesn't pit this lap, he'll pit next lap, and Sheesh might not be close enough to get the full effect of the slipstream that Wakey got on that last lap. As the gap stands,
exactly
it's 2.1 seconds between Jeesh and Young Wakey, so we'll just have to wait and see how much time Woody loses this lap to see if Jeesh gains any real advantage.
I have to say, a nice bit of sportsmanship there going on. Diswood knows he's not in a battle with Wakey and went for a bump draft instead of an overtake, which he absolutely could have into turn 1, but did very nice and has given Wakey a little bit of a tap on the straight, so well done there. But Jeesh, 1.5 seconds behind Diswood, so Jeesh is the next one to navigate the BRZ.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am not surprised at all by that from Woody. Been around the guy for a couple of seasons now, been in a few chats with him, a few races, always hands my ass to me on a plate, but he's certainly a driver that is exceptionally aware of what is going on around him, knows exactly where he's at and knows exactly where the other drivers are at, and if it's on for a battle, he will absolutely put up one hell of a fight, but if it's not the time or the place, he's certainly not going to do anything that's going to hinder somebody else's race, so full credit to him.
As quite crucially, Jeesh is not within slipstream range here. He never actually made it inside that 1 second margin, so as far as we're concerned,
there you go,
Wakey
there it
got
is,
an
there it
advantage.
is.
Okay, 999. But in terms of Wakey, he was in that slipstream range all the way from the second Lesmo down. So that's an advantage for Wakey that Jeesh was unable to capitalize on too.
Oh,
Woody's into the pits here.
Woody's in the pit, so he's had a slipstream, but he's now not got one.
Yeah.
That is massive. Yeah, so you were right, and then you were wrong. But then you were right.
That's what I was saying.
There you go. So,
Wakey got
yeah.
the slipstream, but Jeesh did not.
Exactly right. It doesn't happen a lot in the commentary box when we're right, then we're wrong, then we're right again. So you've got to take those moments. Oh, geesh. The moment on the exit out of the first corner there, the first chicane. This is going to get interesting. Atom has fallen back. Wakey's 1.6 seconds up the road. As far as I'm aware, they're pretty much all three of those are equal on fuel and tyres, but maybe we throw it to Carbon Boy here for a little update on all that.
Sorry,
He's busy
what
with
do you
his
need?
beers.
Sorry,
He's busy
sorry,
with his beers.
I was
We need-
reading the YouTube chat. Sorry,
We need
what
an
am I
update on your-
updating you on?
We need an update on your sim beer and how it tastes still after your victory in Div 3, and then an update on tyres and fuel for the grid.
The Symbia has just been finished, and it was absolutely delicious. An update on fuel and tyres. Rightio, Young Wakey out in P1. He is cruising on about 47% fuel, racing soft tyres, about 5% wear on that front left, probably more towards a 15% mark on that rear left. Jeesh, who is a mere 1.2 seconds behind, so it is on for young and old here in the last to first challenge, is on about 45% fuel, fairly identical tyre wear. Atom, who is a mere 5 seconds behind, is about 43% fuel, 10% wear on that front left, maybe 25% on that rear left, and he's had a fairly decent comeback in this race after his early spin as he takes the fastest lap with a 46.755.
Oh, that is a
There
lap.
you go. Bang, he says. I might be
think
coming
Jeesh is gonna
P3.
take that. I think he's going to take that as a challenge as well, Jeesh.
Yes, I think you have started something here, Adam, because Jeesh will have a slipstream and you won't, unfortunately.
Jeesh has lost 3
moving
tenths
back-
as well.
Moving back to P4, FAF is taking his medicine tyres now, and he is on about 42% fuel. Ricky Bobby, who is on the racing soft tyres, is only 1.2 seconds behind FAF, so he could snare himself a P4 in this race if he plays his cards right. He's on about 42% fuel, about 10% wear on that front left, maybe 20% on the rear left. John, who is in this battle as well for P4, is 1 second behind Ricky Bobby, also on the racing soft. He has about 10% wear on that front left, maybe 25-30% on that rear left, but he is in a bit of a fuel compromise situation with only about 30% left in the tank. So it's a bit touch and go for him here at this stage. There's a bit of a gap back to P7 with Morgan Davies, who is on a brand spanking new set of racing soft tyres with about 35% fuel in the tank, We've got Captain Muffin on a charge, just under 1.9 seconds behind him, who is on some slightly weathered racing soft tyres with about just under 10% wear on that front left, maybe about 25% on the rear left, and about 35% fuel in the tank, and has a hard-charging Woody behind him, who is unfortunately on his racing medicine tyres, brand new, and has about 30% fuel in the tank. There is another large gap back to Corey Hacking P10, who is on just over a quarter of a tank of fuel, with about 10% wear on the front left of his racing soft tyres, about 25 to 30% wear on the rear left. And there is it's a much larger gap, unfortunately, back to Blind Man in P11, who is on his racing medicine tyres, about 10% wear on that front left, 20% on the rear left, and he's just over a quarter tank of fuel. It seems like Monza has been a bit of a horror round for him, and he's just doing what he needs to do to get this over and done with.
As we look back up front, the battle between Young Wakey and Jeesh, it's spicing up because Jeesh, he's gone a little bit slower on that last lap of 47.3, where Young Wakey's actually gone quicker than him on the last lap, but that gap is crucially under a second. There's 2 laps remaining after this one as they're coming through Parabolica. So, I mean, it's going to be tight. Who's going to take it?
It's going to be very tight. Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight. Wakey needs to put on a defensive masterclass here. They're all equal on fuel and tyres, as we've just heard. And Jeesh has just... he set a 46.755.
Oh my God.
Hold on, we've got
it's the same lap.
It's the same lap time.
Oh.
They've got exactly the same lap time, down to the thousandth of a second, HC Atom and Jeesh. That's astonishing. And Wakey is now under huge pressure now. He was focusing on the exits and doing incredibly well. Wakey has been focusing on the exit speed and getting a nice run out of most of these corners and sacrificing his entries a bit. That's kept Jeesh at bay, but now that gap is under half a second.
This is going to be very, very spicy as Wakey is going quicker through the first sector. He knows the stakes involved. Oh, Jeesh runs wide. Oh, then he's dropped off a 10th or 2. The pressure getting to the champion.
He has made it back up at the first Lesmo.
Yeah, he'll have a little bit of dirt on those tyres that he'll have to get rid of. He was also purple as well, so Wakey went purple. Oh, he's had another moment. He's putting everything into that car right now. The grip is just running away from him at the moment until that gravel gets off of the tyres. I can't believe we've had a fastest lap.
Tell you what, guys.
0-0-0.
Keep the camera on that battle. I will just keep my eye on this battle back here with John and FAF for P5. That Jeesh and Wakey battle for P1, yep, that is definitely on.
I can just imagine the emotion and the stress going through Young Wakey's mind right now as there's 4 tenths between him and his first win in Sector 1 as they begin the final lap. He's had a poor entrance into the Parabolica, and that gap to Jeesh is 2.5 tenths as they battle down towards the first turn to begin the final lap.
They tried to get the exit speed and try to get that gap to Jeesh, but it's not going to work. He dives to the inside, Jeesh to the outside. They're going to go side by side into turn 1.
I can't look. Oh, God. Come on, Wakey. Slam on the brakes. Get it turned in. Jeesh tries to hold around the outside. I think he's got it done. He does.
Oh.
Goes into the lead of the race. As Young Wakey can't get the power. Oh, no, he does. He gets the exit. That's closing up again. He could try a move into De La Roggia. Let's see. Is he going to be close enough?
There's a bit of lights flashing from Young Wakey there. I'm not sure what that's all about because it did seem to be.
Tucks it down the inside. Oh, this is massive. Get the boat up.
Oh,
what a move from Young Wakey.
Whoa.
He gets it done. Oh, that's so clutch. As he goes back through
that
into the first Lesmo.
Oh, and Jeesh has hit the wall.
Oh,
Jeesh has hit the wall on Lesmo 1.
Into the Lesmo 2. The gap 6 tenths. Oh!
That was massive. He got a huge run to Wakey. It didn't look like it was enough, but he sent it. Jeesh knew he was there. There was a bit of flashing at turn 1. There was a little bit of contact on the exit, but with Jeesh hitting the wall there at Lesmo 1, he's dropped back nearly to 5 tenths.
Oh, come on.
Wakey got the advantage.
One more corner.
Just as an update, John has made his way past FAF to get
Oh.
P5, and back to this battle.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
Carbon Boy. At 6/10, the blue flags are out. But I think Young Wakey is going to get it in spectacular fashion into the final corner. The helmet for the final time.
Oh,
It's 4/10.
Oh,
The gap
geez,
just
you're
needs wide. Oh,
sideways.
they're both wide. They're both wide. Oh, the
They're both-
power. Young
And
Wakey is going to get it. P1 for the first time.
Oh, and
Jeesh
Jeesh
takes
ran out of
second.
fuel.
Adam takes
And he-
third. And
he ran
Ricky
out of-
Bobby.
Yeah, he ran out of fuel to Jeesh 20 meters before the line as well. Oh my idiot.
John takes fifth, FAF sixth, Morgan Davey will come home in seventh. And while we've got the chance, let's have a look at that.
Captain Muffin very wide at the Parabolica.
Let's have a look
using
at the
all
next
the track
racing
and then some.
action replay at that move from Young Wakey to get it down the inside of Jeesh into the De La Rogia chicane. Gets it pulled up and perfect move executed to perfection. And Corey Hack will come home in P10. Wowee, what a race that was.
Unbelievable. Last lap was just extreme. But then we've also got a fastest lap share between two drivers. This final race for Division 1 has had it all.
I'm going to
Oh
throw it
my
out there now.
goodness.
Driver of the day, Young Wakey. Full
I
stop.
think-
End of story.
I think that's deserving of Drive of the Season, one of our small awards for this season. Holy moly! So, I think... Okay, we'll have a look at the results.
Look at this result sheet here. We've got two people with a purple lap. I was going to give my driver of the day to Atom, but after that fight back from Wakey, I think I concur completely with Carbon Boy. Wakey, young Wakey, what a drive he's done today.
Holy hell. I mean... Jeesh made him work for it, that's for sure. Young Wakey had to put everything on the line. He wasn't the quickest person out on track. He was actually quite far away, half a second off that fastest lap time. But he did everything he needed to, made the move crucially, got it done, and he can now say that he's a Sector 1 Division 1 race winner.
Yeah, that is quite the feeling I can imagine. Let's just put it that way. That's quite the feeling I can imagine. And he managed his strategy all the way through the race absolutely perfectly. And that's allowed him to keep up at the top. I mean, that last sequence of events, though, he tried to defend against Jeesh. Jeesh had the outside line into turn 1. Jeesh had the exit, so there's nothing that Wakey could have done there. There was a little bit of side-by-side action between them, a little bit of bumping, but nothing Wakey could have done out of turn 1. And then that send into turn 3 into De La Rogia. As Max Verstappen-esque is all I can
We
say.
have had
absolutely.
a request in the YouTube chat from Mr. Snake Eyes. We want burnouts. Now,
Yes,
I'm not
donuts!
sure.
Oh.
We gotta see it.
There
I'm
are
not
some
sure
right now.
I'm not sure if that's directed at Jeesh for his
Everyone.
Div 1 championship win, or for young Wakey for his sensational race win, but I will happily endorse both of them doing burnouts right now. Go for it, gents.
There are burnouts happening on track right now. Wakey's already out there. Atom's just come through, giving him a nudge.
Excellent.
Jeesh is out there as well, and they're going to be doing some burnouts for us. Lovely.
That's the spirit. Celebrate, boys. Final round of the season. And the YouTube chats are firing in. We've got
And
Young
here's the
Wakey for
respawn,
driver
guys.
of the day. Driver of the day, Young Wakey from Robert Rice. Where else we got? Bumcrack, driver of the day, Wakey. Debrev, driver of the day, Wakey. Shizer, driver of the day, Wakey. Snake Eyes, driver of the day, Wakey. The Prospector, driver of the day, Wakey. Atom is in the YouTube chat saying, I had it first in regards to the fastest lap.
That's a fair point. He did have it first. He was the first one to set it. Then Jeesh went and set the same fastest lap. So it's a fair point from Atom there. Hats off to him. And I would also say huge congratulations to Jeesh, of course. He's had his congratulations from last time for being the division champion. But I would also say honourable mention today goes to Atom because he had that huge off earlier in the race and managed to recover to P3 from that. So my hats off to him. But Wakey driver of the day, it's completely clear and cut.
Yep, no arguments from me. Sensational race, managed his strategy, and more than held his own against the current Div 1 champion. So, yeah.
As we're riding on the shoulder with Jeesh with his victory donuts.
Oh, I'm
Quite the race.
I don't know you gentlemen, but yeah, I'm done. Oh,
As we
Well,
see John
neither of
out
us
on
had to
track
race,
as
so-
well. And I believe that's Woody who is out on track as well. Oh no, that's Morgan.
so to all the people in the YouTube chat, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Make sure you smash that like button so we can manipulate the YouTube algorithm as much as possible. I mean, show your support for the S1 YouTube channel. Same. And yeah, thank you for being along for the ride with us tonight, because that Div 1 race was an absolute cracker.
As we see the two respawn cars doing it synchronized donuts on the runoff at turn 1.
We have got a note in chat here from Atom. He's saying Respawn are the team's champions. Lenocious, is that confirmable at this stage?
I think it is. Hang on, let me just have a look. I have some notes from Atom. So the what was needed was okay. To win team's championship, one driver to finish P8 or better, or two drivers to finish P14. So yeah, well that's definitely happened. So
Yeah, it has. Well, congratulations, Respawn then. They've taken it.
they've been confirmed team's champions as well there. So yeah, big day for the Respawn crew as we see Jeesh's tyres smoking away there. As we see Morgan here now on the runoff doing some donuts of his own. Post-championship donuts.
Yes, we don't normally endorse post-race circle work, but final race of the season, the title's been decided. Yeah, as a race director, I will allow this.
Good call. Chaps, I'm going to make a move, unfortunately, because it's very late here in New Zealand. But a huge congratulations to Div 1. Huge congratulations and thanks to both yourself, Lenocious and Carbon Boy, for all the effort, all the time you put in as well. Been a pleasure joining you for the last couple of Div 1 races. So thank you for allowing me into the comms box again. It's always appreciated. But hopefully we can enjoy some beers later and celebrate the season. Congrats to you both. Congrats to everyone in Div 1. Congrats Jeesh. Congrats Wakey. Congrats Respawn Esports.
It's been a pleasure having you, CGK, and all the best for your race here at Monza next week.
Thank you very much. I'm not here next week.
Chat,
But yes.
somebody said in chat, who was it? Snake Eyes said track will still have tyre smoke next Sunday. Probably.
Mix it up for Div 2 and 4, why not?
Anyways, after that slight detour, I think we should officially have a look at the race results here. I don't think we actually got around to that. So, Young Wakey takes P1 in spectacular fashion. Jeesh finishes P2 with a joint fastest lap with Atom. However, Atom set that fastest lap first, so we'll take that fastest lap extra point. Ricky Bobby finishes 4th, John in 5th, FAF 6th, Morgan Davies 7th, Captain Muffin 8th, and then we have Woody 9th, Corey Hack 10th, and Blind Man completing the proceedings there. So, yeah, that's how everything lines up. As these guys still doing donuts here, actually, as we'll have a look across. These donuts are going for ages. These guys still going at it.
They do love a good skid.
Yeah. As Snake Eyes says, race director gets drunk and look what happens.
I would say drunk. Tipsy, maybe.
Yeah. As I think that concludes the donuts, the post-championship donuts here at Monza. So I just want to take the time to say thank you to all the drivers, teams, race directors, team owners, and the audience, everyone who shows up each and every week to come and support their favorite drivers and teams. It's such a pleasure to be with you here almost every week, and yeah, it's some great racing we saw this season, and capping it off for Division 1 in such a massive way. What a race that was. We love to see it, and yeah, I mean, that's just what Sector 1 is about here. Any last words before I sign it off, Carbon Boy?
I will see you guys next week for the Division 2 race.
Yeah, and quite importantly, from Shizer, just firing it in on chat, the livery that the Brockia 5 Sim Racing cars had on tonight, the hashtag "It Ain't Weak to Speak." Keep that in mind, guys. If men's mental health is such a massive issue, and yeah, if you need help, you need to speak up, and yeah, everyone's here at Sector 1 who can help you, and yeah, reach out to those closest to you, of course. So, thanks for coming, everybody. What a season we've had in Division 3 and Division 1. Love to see it. But that's Lenosis, CGK, and Carbon Boy signing it off for the final time here for our Group A proceedings in Season 7. Thanks for coming, everybody. Oh, Ed, this Thursday, we have Community Series here at Monza. Tag along and have some fun here on track in the Community Genesis cars. And next Sunday, we do the same thing all over again, but with our Group B guys, Division 4 and Division 2. So that's everything from us tonight. And join us when we're here next week on Thursday and Sunday. Thanks for coming, everybody. And we're signing it off there. Bye, guys.